that's what you think, huh? Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
You love Earth, Wind, and Fire? Yeah, I do too. I never bought their albums, but I loved every damn hit, you know, by them. Hey, folks, how you doing? Kimberly is just before I got on, and I'm doing my notes as best as I can here. Sorry for the late start here. This is the second time I've started this late. Uh, must be a Wednesday.
It must be a Wednesday, hun.
Yeah. What did we have 2 weeks ago? And what do we have today? That's sad. That's sad. Another one bites the dust. Another one will never see 30
Yeah.
or know what it's like to be a young man in the 30s. And all because of hatred. That's sad. That's sad. Um, folks, we have, let me make sure I'm all straight here. Well, I am. I'm the one that's not straight. I hope you're all doing well. I see so many of you out there. I'm glad that Doc Insomnia made the stream. He said he wasn't going to. Who was it up very early um, who brought up an interesting thing? Are you there? Oh, and by the way, are you? It was you that I skipped. Remember in my last stream, and I go, yeah, and Kimberly goes, no, there was only two, and I thought, in answering the super thanks, and it was you that I missed. I knew there was a third person. I've got your message, and you didn't really write much, but I do want to share it, okay? Because I always try to get to people, everybody who does a super thanks, and I want to thank you, but that's not why I brought him up. He said, did you guys hear the news about the footage of Led Zeppelin performing Dazed and Confused in Sweden back in 1969? Footage was found, but it was too late to include it on the doc. To include it on Doc September 30th Blu-ray 4K. So, are you? I'm going to ask you to give me some more information on that. I looked at that, and I know there is some lost footage that will be included on that, and that was the best I could come up with. So, and that was lost footage from Denmark, not Sweden. So, if you could clarify that and everything, because either yeah, I get Denmark and Sweden mixed up too. They're both Scandinavian countries. Of course, Denmark's down south with a body of water separating them, but kind of the same type of culture in many ways, sort of, kind of, sort of, kind of. Um, and I'm aware of a Denmark performance. So let me know. Are you sure it was a Swedish performance that they found? And I'll be sharing some of that tonight, okay? Because that goes right along with what we've been talking about. So keep that in mind as we go through this. First of all, I'm Michael Noland. For those of you, this is maybe the first time you've ever seen the stream. Maybe you caught one of my videos. You go, oh, that fool actually gets up and streams. Maybe I'll watch him. Um, and this is the bottom line. Michael Noland of the bottom line. But when I stream, we call the streams the tribal.
Hun, Deuce just came in with a super thanks.
My goodness,
Wild.
pretty large one too.
Deuce.
Huh.
That is so sweet.
Wow, that is terrific.
Awesome.
Let me give you a like here. Everybody give him a like.
Yeah.
When somebody does this and you don't have the ability to give, support the people who do, you know? They at least deserve a trillion thumbs ups. Uh, very nice super thanks, by the way. Wow, what a way to start off the evening, baby.
Nice.
Deuce is Wild, $20. Thank you so much, Deuce. Hammer of the Gods from the land of ice and snow. Wow. Wow. Okay. He's starting off a bit hot here, ain't he? He says, this band keeps rising like a phoenix to soar over ever gloriously. Hail Jimmy, Robert, John, and John Paul Jones. Their low point is someone else's left field. The momentum rises. Yes, it certainly does. Oh my goodness, yes,
Oh,
and
thank
Irga
you,
Splitting is in.
Irga
Hey, he
Splitting.
wasn't in on the last stream. I think he
No,
caught up with me
and we
on the
missed him.
replay.
We missed him on the
Yeah,
last stream.
I did want to bring that up, Gear
So,
Jam. He's also known as Gear Jam. Like me, he has a dual identity, right? Deuce Hammer time. That's right. Now, that's what we call swinging the Deuce Hammer here. I forget. Was it you, Gear Jam, that started this? Or was it Air Split? It's one of the regulars that started this. Yeah, let me know who started this because it's become a channel. Uh, like I usually sign off my regular videos. We are the tribe, right? That's how this whole tribal thing started. I imagined that all of you, when I did my videos, were like minded in the fact that you love classic rock. Now, you might not agree with what I'm talking about regarding your favorite band or artist, or you might agree with some of what I say, but usually it's three quarters. You don't want, that type of thing. Go there, but here on the tribal forum, I was just saying that a lot of people support the tribal forum. Some people give us some really nice super thanks. Other people, they don't have that kind of money, but they'd like to financially say a $2 super thanks, a dollar. Uh, who was it? Rockin' Robin Bird came in with a dollar. Of course, she followed it up with 20. But the idea of that, you don't think, oh well, I don't want to do that. What I could afford wouldn't help out the channel. Yeah, it would. And when 10 or 15 of you get the same idea, then those $2 super thanks collectively become quite a big super thanks. It's almost like sponsoring a book of tickets to take some disadvantaged kids to the circus. So I appreciate that so much. I really do. Um, so when we're talking about the tribal forum, this is where I, your humble tribe master, a title I did not choose for myself. If you're new viewers, all right, this is what you guys have been calling me in the chat for a long, long time. I finally took on the mantle and it seemed appropriate. I call this thing the tribe. This is what we have here. This is, now, if you're new also, and all of these people that you're seeing in the comments, join in. These are the most welcoming people on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. Please join in. They're waiting to become your friend, right? And when we wind up in the tribal forum here, we are collectively and live a tribe. We are a family. Now we bitch and moan at each other just like any other family. And just like any other family, we have our Democrats, our Republicans, we have our independents, other parties. We got people who have nothing to do with politics whatsoever. We got Christians. We've got people from other religions. We've got people who don't believe in God. Everybody with a different opinion is part of this tribe, but we leave all that shit. I was going to try and do a whole damn stream without fucking cussing, babe.
oh,
I just blew it, didn't I?
well, I don't know. Did you?
You weren't listening?
Well, I was responding to a comment,
She was
so
responding. Boy, I can get away with a lot while she's
me.
responding to you
You
guys.
caught me, huh?
I caught you?
You caught
Well, that's all right. You'll catch me. That's what we're here for, baby. Just catch each other,
me. Yep,
right?
absolutely.
If I fall, may thou catch me. Dan Ellison. Now, first time I've seen you in, saw the classic album band perform LZ2 last week. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. The brown, the brown bomber. The Brown Bomber, right, Dan? That's what a lot of people call that album. Novus, it's so good to see you in. Michael Noland, hey, brother. Love to you and Kimberly and the tribe, and a love right back to you and your family. Hope is it your mother-in-law who's still, or is it your actually mother? I think it was your mother-in-law that's still working in her 90s. Nick has a restaurant. He's a restaurant man. My grandpa was a restaurant man, right? So I understand the business. Had a few dishwashing jobs as a young man, right? And did a bit of waiting for a little bit of time. So I'm aware of it. A lot of hard work goes into that, you know. And Nick is such an amazing guy, and sometimes is the fourth horseman on the Four Horsemen.
Novice
Now,
Nick, yeah.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
Nick goes way back.
he's great.
I love the man. Yeah, he's great. He's great when he's not bitching at me. Okay, no, oh, Novus and I, we go toe to toe, don't we, Nick?
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's always in good fun, right? And he's another guy. I thoroughly respect Nick. Thoroughly respect this guy. He's knowledgeable. He's got a record collection that you can only drool over, right? Uh, how many thousands, Nick? Let us know in the comments. Records you got. You know, I just told on my last stream, I just ordered my 140th record, Nick. Bet you're impressed, huh? But no, Nick, and he like the things that Nick and I do agree on is where music should be taking you, what you should be getting out of music. We agree a whole lot on that, right? And we're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. Bronze Snake, it's so good to see you. I just want to say a quick hello to most of you if I can. I've got already probably 100, over 100 people in here. Well, not 100 in. We're at about 30. It'll grow as we go along. Probably some people came in and go, he isn't even on. Fuck him, that kind of thing. John Patterson, good to see you, my friend. Rock and roll music will always be the greatest meeting place for all people. It has all colors of the spectrum and then some we can't imagine. Pure freedom without consequence. It will never die. And you know what? I've done streams on that. John C. Hi, Michael and Kimberly. Wow. Where we're talking about, well, it's kind of died, but we're talking about it as being the primary form of listening entertainment that's listened to over other genres of music. It's kind of had its day as being the top dog, but I agree with you, John, and I've said that many times. It'll never die. Now's the time to curate what we have. All right. These are like one of you in the comments on, and I apologize for getting to your comments so late on my last stream. I just didn't have it in me after that. I thought I had gone an hour and I actually almost hit 2 hours. And I just collapsed after that one, put my all in it, folks. And then I got somebody talking about that. Because we were talking a whole lot about and we'll talk a little bit about that tonight, but not as a main subject. But all of the compilation albums, all of the best of albums. Remember, I went over a list of 18 albums that are still in the Billboard's top 200. There were three albums on that list that weren't greatest hits albums. All right, so 15 of those are greatest hits. I explained, they have a longer lifespan, and casual fans are more likely to buy the hits than the actual albums. And my argument was that hurts the original albums, which a lot of you will know. My personal belief system is that these grand masterpieces in art should be hung. It's been a while since I used this analogy. It should be hanging on the walls of the Louvre, a copy with hypersonic sounds when you go in front of the album cover and it's playing it, you know, and everybody can contemplate their navel. They are pieces of art. All right. I know Nick will agree with this. Now, we might not agree which pieces are pieces of art, but in general, I also know we agree on a lot of albums that are pieces of art, right? And how you doing, Royce? I saw you in there. Of course, when I say a panelist, one of the four horsemen, Royce is out there right now. He used to have a channel called Royce in the House. All right, a longtime viewers will know. I used to go over there. I was a member of the panel. Nick would be up there, right? And we'd have the panel discussion. And Royce has done a total rebrand, and I'll get back to what I was talking about. And now he's known as the Four Horsemen, and it's all about. It's a panel of four. What Royce is trying to do is to clear more time for each panelist to have more to say rather than have like 6 or 7 people up, and it becomes a cacophony of sound. And trying to stay on a main, for the most part, we deviate like I do a bit, but on a main focus. And of course, I'm one of the four horsemen. Nicholas is one of the four horsemen, even though he may be coming up in a rotating fashion. But all those folks that are coming up rotating, you know, the reason we're doing that is so that when you are up there, you'll have more time to really represent what you're talking about, right? And so it's to actually give you more time to talk. So it doesn't mean that because Royce and I and Dan are kind of the three that he's chosen to be the permanent members as we can make it. I haven't made it in a couple of weeks. Then we have the backup horsemen that are ready to come in. And you also have the fourth horseman every week, right? And he's trying to rotate, giving everybody a different chance to do it. Exciting stuff over there, brother. Um, so anyway, who else is? Oh, what was I talking about? Oh, we're talking about all these best of albums and everything else like that. I think it hurts the albums that we've come to know as masterpieces, right? And people are now taking, um, uh, buying all. For example, the Beatles. For 3 years, they've offered us nothing more than what is basically a compilation offering. All right, and this year, especially, it's offensive because this is the 60th anniversary of Rubber Soul. We're not getting a box set remastering or a remixing of that album that all of us wanted. Nobody wanted the U.S. albums. I know once they offered it, some people go, "Well, might as well get it." I think that's basically what happened there. And the Red and Blue album, nobody was asking for that. That kind of came out of left field. And so the problem is all of these best of anthologies and everything takes the focus off the original albums. And we who are first generation can tell you that's a bad freaking mistake because these need to be listened. And I've said this before from track one to track N and in one sitting, and I love it. I gave you an analogy of a guy who has, these wonderful paintings or wonderful albums. You go down into his basement. Oh, tonight it shall be the dark side of the moon. It's been 2 years since a glass of wine and a great set of headphones, or as Nick would say, a better pair of speakers, right? And you go through the experience, and we're going to lose that as this bullshit keeps happening. Hi, Art. Saw you in there. I see so many of you.
Yeah.
I see so many of you. Dan on the edge of town. Hi, Dan. Novus Nick. So why does that bother me? And what's going on? Well, I got one person in the comments who said, listen, this is the new crowd. This is the new young people. And I address that. I go, I understand. It's a new age. We even talked about some of the shows and the new technology and the avatar shows and everything. And he says, uh, I wish I had taken his name. Uh, he goes, what about all of the uh, classical music? Right? He says Bach or Beethoven or Mozart or Vivaldi, Tchaikovsky. They're playing their music 150, 200, 300 years later, and guess what? They're only playing their most popular. All those guys wrote way more than just Bach's fugue in D minor, right? Bach has other material, and uh, and there are other material that's popular, and they play the popular stuff, but they had their lesser works. And my retort to that was yes, but those classical giants also wrote in suites. They were mad. Each piece was practically the size of an album. So if you're going to use that analogy to kind of cut down my argument, I would say that each piece of those, uh, what is it, Beethoven's Fifth, uh, what they're doing today would be like taking one of Beethoven's longer pieces and just You get the first 5 minutes of it, 2 minutes out of the beginning of the middle section, minute and a half, and do that. Everybody would raise their voices in despair, saying, "What are you doing?" Isn't that exactly what they're doing? So I don't think that argument holds up against me, if you ask me. All right. So what we're talking about tonight, and this has been a long intro. I don't usually take this long to even get to the title, but the title tonight and the question we're going to ask was 2025 Led Zeppelin's year. Because, in my opinion, 2025 has been a great year for Led Zeppelin. A great year for Led. Well, sort of a great year for Led Zeppelin. All right, I have my criticisms about what we've gotten, but compared to what we got from my other two favorite bands, Led Zeppelin kind of comes out on top. I don't want what the Beatles are offering. I'll never buy it. There's just no reason for me to have that. I've got Anthology, and I'll on digital. I even own it digitally. I owned the CD back in the day. Got rid of my CD, so I don't own a physical copy of it. But Anthology isn't one of those things I need a physical copy of it. If they had just made a,
Hi,
I saw
Rockin'
that.
Robin just came in.
Hey, Rockin' Robin, how you feeling, darling?
Bird. You're
How
so
you feeling? I hope you're doing well. Rockin' Robin has been. Checking in with an injury. And and that's another thing I told all you folks. What is all these people? These people care for each other. Some of the people you see here have gone through uh, horrible weather patterns, suffered tornadoes, uh, doctor's visits. Uh, Tim, if you're out there, I heard you're going back, yeah, into surgery and things didn't work out quite the way you thought it would. I meant to say that on my last stream and I didn't get to it. And I don't know if Tim is out there tonight, but if he sees this on replay, a lot of you folks have gone through it. Yeah, I myself have gone through things. So, way back a few years ago, Kimberly had a heart attack, right? And that just absolutely curtailed everything I was doing on the channel, of course. It's like, okay, the channel doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. And as she got better, all of you guys were so wonderful in supporting me and showing true love. And these people care about each other. So when you're seeing these people, Gerald Jenkins, I would say so. Yes, becoming Led Zeppelin and the physical uh, graffiti 50th anniversary box set with the live ED. I guess you're talking about EPs there, uh, or I don't know what an ED is, but EP all being released. Yeah, and we're going to be talking about that. That's kind of like the impetus of tonight. So it's good to see you, Gerald. All of you, Jay Claban, longtime viewer, Joseph Blue was asking, when is Michael coming up? Yeah, and as soon as I saw that, I got to go up. I was still typing and all of that. I don't have a ton of notes, got a few. I think this is going to be by the seat of my pants, kind of like the last one, but I got more notes than I did on my last stream. All right, so is it me, or has 2025 been even a bigger disappointment than 2024? Because the last good years for me, where we saw some stellar stuff being offered, was probably the tail end of 2022 and throughout 2023. Oh, I was in heaven, wasn't I, baby? There was, there
yes.
was so many great releases.
Yeah.
We had Midnight Rose by Paul Rogers, Rock Flout by Jethro Tull, 72 Seasons from Metallica. Who else did we get? Mirror to the Sky by Yes. I don't know if John Anderson's came out quite that year, but it was really close to that. Truth. Uh, and he, we also got a great release from Robert Plant in 2023. Um, it was like the old days. I mean, not quite. The old days, you'd have that many albums coming out in a single month, right? But for the 21st century, ah, man, it was raining classic rock and new material. I had hope, you know. And then led by the Beatles, if you ask me, um, the whole thing has gone to compilations. I mean, and I made my point that it's not just the Beatles, but the ex-Beatles, and their the family members who are making decisions for Beatles who have passed, and they're all offering compilations or silly concoctions of of albums, and no one's more guilty of that than the John Lennon estate. I don't like what they're doing with his music at all. I think it's disrespectful, and they're assuming that John Lennon would have gone on and become as enlightened as they have become since his death. Maybe not. John could have always surprised you. And I'm not sure that he'd be up on all the releases that they've been doing. That's my opinion. Big John Lennon fan, right? But I wasn't going to buy the Cube or any variation of it. I'll get Mind Games, the single edition remix, and I'll be happy. Just like instead of buying Beatles, and we're going to be talking about some other things that I've bought, but instead of buying Beatle related material, I decided to spend my money on some key solo albums by the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. And that's kind of what the whole show is about tonight. But instead of getting an anthology, I decided to go ahead and get the remastered uh, version. See, a different kind of label there. Remastered version of the McCartney album, the remastered version, different kind of label there, of the Ram album, two of McCartney's very best albums, and the remastered version of, is it remastered? Plastic Ono Band? Maybe not. Just a new version. Yeah, looks like it's just a new version. And that's fine. I love the old mix and everything of the Plastic Ono Band, which is John Lennon's finest album to me. So I spent monies in that area rather than being pulled into the Beatles circus this year and the Beatles circus last year and the Beatles circus the year before that. Okay. So we're getting all these compilation efforts and not very many people uh, releasing. I think Jethro Tull released a new album this year, and I heard a couple of tracks. Didn't grab me, but I'll hold off on that. I'm a major Jethro Tull fan. Okay, big time Ian Anderson fan, and Rock Flout was great. Flute. Uh, and the first couple of tracks that were released, as pre-releases, it didn't ring my chimes, but I've also been very busy on the channel. So I know there's a lot of bands that have put out brand new albums. I know some of you are going, well, what about and ooh, and what about and what about? I'm talking about in my kind of circle of the bands I was looking and hoping. I'm still catching up on stuff for LP, so my interest kind of goes throughout classic rock, but I'm always interested in getting the latest, greatest, whatever, if I can, and it's worthwhile to buy. We're not getting that. We're not getting that from the Beatles. We did get, um, just in case any of you are confused or this is the first time you've seen me, my top three bands are the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, number two, and number three, Pink Floyd. We did get this wonderful album by Pink Floyd based on Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. They titled the album, I know this is backwards, I'm so sorry. Uh, that's a long story. And again, I said that last time, but longtime fans know why the image is backwards. We're working on that. But they retitled this instead of Live at Pompeii, just Pink Floyd at Pompeii. Not sure why. All right. This was an album we deserved to get. Paul McCartney released, what was it? Uh, One Hand Clapping, another kind of same thing. We always wanted that album. We always wanted this album. It's out. It's almost like a new album. And when I do my end of the year best albums released, I can guarantee you Live at Pompeii or Pink Floyd at Pompeii is going to be one of those albums that I have a lot of good to say. Yeah, babe.
Terry Wheeler is saying, "Hey Michael, do you think Led Zeppelin will ever reunite again and use Jason Bonham behind the drum kit?"
Yeah, no, I don't.
Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
don't either.
no, I don't. I'll tell you, Royce and I both on the panel, we were in hopes for a while, weren't we, Royce? Um, did that one more. Matter of fact, yeah, it was Vance from Zeppelin, another great channel, and a channel that I support. Uh, I think he once told me in one of my early videos, because the channel really took off when I started talking about Led Zeppelin. And if truth be known, in the last 2 years, I've been more Led Zeppelin oriented than listening to the Beatles. Um, but that's how it happens for me, right? I'll get into a Beatle wave, and then uh, for the next 18 months, that's all I'll play and all of that, and then I won't touch them for 2 years or 3 years for the most part, unless I'm doing research for the channel and everything. But to answer your question, we were all wondering that ourselves, and Vance once wrote back to me that God, this comment's got to go back 2 or 3 years. Uh, Give it up, Michael. You hope in vain, or something like that, right? And I wrote some snarky response. One can only hope, fans, that type of thing. But yeah, uh, I sure would love it to happen. But we're going to be talking about one. Well, for one thing, we're going to be talking about tonight is "Saving Grace," the new Robert Plant album. We're going to be going over a review of the album. There have been three uh, pre-releases, and I'll be discussing that. Okay, but recent interviews with Robert Plant has pretty much said, and you also got to understand Robert. See, he's the guy that won't do it. I think John Paul Jones and Jimmy Page, man, maybe that's what'll get Jimmy out of his high-walled garden, you know, um, because out of the three remaining, I'd say the only one that's really doing some super. You're going to tell me, yeah, but and I'm not talking about stuff about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm talking about pretty much currently and everything. He's the only one that's really doing a lot of stuff. He's touring. He's putting out album after album after album, and he's exploring Americana. Only with this new album, there are some Led Zeppelin elements to it, despite all of the banjos and violin. Okay, so we're going to be talking about it, but no, he's made it clear. His Led Zeppelin days are gone. Yeah, he's proud of it, but he doesn't want to do that. I think it was his reluctance. See all those interviews, and another thing we're going to be talking about tonight, because wow, what a year it's been, was the Led Zeppelin becoming Led Zeppelin film, right? Those are all what 3 to 5 year old interviews that they did. They were going to do this earlier and it got shut down or something like that, or another project, and they used the interviews from the, I forget what it was, right? I just watched it again to kind of get up. It's a marvelous film. If you're new to Led Zeppelin, this is the one you want to watch, right? If you're a Beatle fan, but Mike keeps talking about Led Zeppelin, I never did give them a chance. Becoming Led Zeppelin is a good film to watch. You'll I mean, the story's there. It's a little sanitized. There's no doubt about it. Just like the Beatles, what the TV show they put on that was connected to Anthology was a sanitized version of the Beatles, and they only talked about stuff they were willing to talk about. That's true here too. Okay, so it's not like it's eye opening. There's a lot of stuff that if you've read any books on Led Zeppelin that aren't even mentioned. Or if they're mentioned, but then they connect it to another thought process and they go in a whole different other direction, right? So, no, I don't. I sure wish it would happen. I know Royce agrees with me on that. It would just be wonderful to watch them one more time. I didn't get to see them in 2007. I had tickets to see them. Was it 75? And it was my first marriage. My first wife and I were going to go see it. We had tickets. And then Robert Plant's son passed away. and they canceled the tour. That was my one shot to see Led Zeppelin. By the time uh, they would be coming around my area and everything again, John Bonham died, and that was the end of Led Zeppelin. So all you folks who got to see him, I'm jealous as hell, and damn you all to hell. No, I'm serious. That was that's my biggest disappointment in my entire concert going career, if you want to call it that. That is the biggest disappointment. You know, paid to see him, had my tickets, couldn't see him, right? So that kind of sucked. So I don't think in the end, and if any of you disagree with me and you think or you're aware of an interview where there was an opening or you heard something that, gee, they're trying to, let me know. But as far as what I know about what's going on with the band, I think it's a done deal. I think Royce wants to get, and so do I, the LP version of their final show, because I think that's the sayonara we got. And what a sayonara it was. And we didn't get all four Led Zeppelin members, but we got the next best thing because Bonzo's son was their drummer, and he's a very good drummer. I'm a fan of Jason Bonham, right? And he did a fantastic job. The whole band did, you know. And so I don't know. Even when Jimmy Page played, what was that, Rumble for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Jimmy Page on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just sickens me. But I noticed there was a point there where he kind of made a mistake, but that's kind of Jimmy. He'll make a mistake. He made it up and it sure would be good to see him instead of just showing up in a film here, with uh, what's his name from U2, who's nowhere near on the level of Jimmy Page. I never understood. Jack Black, neither of them on his level. I'm sorry. I don't care how good a guitar. And I actually like the Edge's style. He supplies a lot of the things for U2 that Andy Summers supplied for the Police, and many times early Beatles, what George Harrison supplied for the Beatles. A lot of counter licks to the basic strumming of another guitar, or counter licks instead of the strumming of another guitar, right? But I don't know. It seems like every time I read about him, he's in some sort of argument with his neighbor over a fence, and it's really sad. It's really sad. But he has been busy enough to go ahead and remaster Led Zeppelin's latest offering, and we'll talk about that. So before we get into that, this has got to be how long have I been on? Good Lord, 37 minutes, and I haven't even got to shout outs. Okay. But I'm in no hurry. I was a little late. I'll make up for that. Don't worry. We'll go over an hour for sure, I would imagine tonight. I will say, troll alert. It doesn't look like we've got
No,
anybody
not so far.
out there. Kimberly says not so far.
Nope.
Okay. But just be on the lookout and knock them down faster. The one guy we're talking about has many faces, but you can tell him. You can tell him in an instant.
Michael Boswell just came
Oh my
in.
goodness. Hi, Michael. It's been a long time.
Michael, you're always so wonderful.
Yeah, he
Thank
is.
you.
He says, it's been a long time. Been a long time. Been a long, lonely, 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 lonely time. I love it. One of my favorite Led Zeppelin tunes.
Yeah.
You know, been a long time. Been a long time. Oh, God, yeah. Mm, mm. Thank you, Michael. $5 super thanks. I appreciate it. So keep that in mind. We're still at 46.2. Everybody knows why. It's bullshit, but that's what's happened. Many of you are complaining about being unsubscribed. Well, there's a reason why we're at 46.2 and not 46.3, which we were last week, and safely well over 46.3. And so, yeah, you are being unsubscribed. So you better check your subscriptions. You better check your notification bars because they're taking that off. I don't know why YouTube is doing it. They're the only entity that has that power to do it. Okay. So, and I've gotten complaints from you, and I see it so clearly in my YouTube analytics. So keep that in mind. Um, and then we're going to get into some shout outs. I'm not going to get into the merch tonight. I know I didn't last time. We have merch. Click on the title, and you can see how to order one of three tribal mugs if that's your bent. Okay. But on our last show, what's that, baby?
Jurgis Clinton just came in with the super things.
Oh, did he really? Just when I went off.
The Deuce Hammer.
Let me see.
Thank you, Deuce.
I can catch it right here.
Jurgis Clinton. What am I saying? Jurgis Clinton.
Oh, you said thank you, Deuce. Yeah.
Jurgis Clinton.
Yeah. Well, you could have just, what it is you're getting caught up on the Irgersplitten Loudon Boomer.
I know, I love that
right?
name.
Just call him Gearjim.
I know it's a bullet, and it's quite a bullet.
He brings us in. He swings the deuce hammer, man.
Yes.
He even says that, swinging the deuce hammer for our brother Oberheim. Wow.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, because Oberheim wrote that he's having a hard time doing the payment thing.
Yeah. Oh, Brandon. I'm sorry you are. But thank you so much. Somebody, is representing you, brother. Oh, I'm sorry you're having that problem, but I'm glad you're here. That's the main thing. The super thanks are nice. They really are. They are supporting this channel. They're important. But I'm more interested in all of you who are watching me right now. All right. To be honest, and the people who give these super thanks are more interested in that too. They do this out of the kindness of their hearts, right? And so when I say, look, I do it for everybody, they're not offended by that. Well, I support the channel. He should be doing it for me. It's not. See, that's not the tribe, baby. That's not how we swing in this jungle. Okay, we all come to each other's defense, and if you've been on my last few streams, you will know we come to each other's defense. We care about each other when we're ill. We pray or we don't pray. We just give well wishes.
Deuce is wild. Just kidding.
My goodness.
It's really Deuce this time.
Oh,
thank you.
It's really Deuce this time. She says, Deuce. Swinging the deuce hammer.
Deuce is wild.
Power of two.
So sweet.
Wow. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Deuce does this so often and in so many ways. Matter of fact, I'm sure I'm going to read his name here in a minute. Aww. These are the people who gave me super thanks on my last stream, which was day before yesterday. I don't usually do streams this close together, but I took the day off on Sunday to honor an individual. And I just got angrier and angrier and angrier about some stuff going on. And I had to follow up Sunday with a stream on Monday. I told you guys I didn't know if I could make it on Wednesday. I might try Thursday. And then I thought, no. Let's get back on track. Let's get back to talking about music. Let's fix this whole damn thing, So anyway, on our last stream, Rockin' Robin Bird, I included her here. I'll read her again for the same super thanks. But these are ones I just wanted to share because my wife shared this one because she had already swung up. I got to these guys too late. And if you remember, Kimberly was telling me, no, it was only two. And I go, are you sure? I thought I saw three. And she goes, no, it was two. You're all caught up. And I went, okay, well, I'll check.
It goes off the stream.
I know.
After a bit.
I know.
It should stay up there.
Well, it's your damn haunted iPad is what does it. It was on your screen, right?
Are you there? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw Satan's face flashing, going, ha, 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 several times as I was flicking around there, right?
Oh.
Anyway, I do want to reread Rockin' Robin Birds. She says, enjoying this one. We all keep rock music alive. Yes, we do. That's what we're doing here. We're starting to procure what we have got so far, and we're going to weed out all the new stuff and bring in those albums. I'm going to start really focusing. I want to do a whole set on a stream that covers maybe the three bands and what I think is their best stuff so far. Depends how big their discography, how deep I'll go with the bands, but you can bet your bottom dollar one of those bands is going to be Dirty Honey, another Rival Sons. We talked about them. Dorothy and I don't know if I want to include Greta Van Fleet in that because I've covered Greta Van Fleet pretty all the way through. I might allude to them. But I would like to get that done. And it's time to start procuring and bringing in and not worrying about whether the rock industry recognizes these bands. It's whether the fucking tribe recognizes these bands. It's whether the Four Horsemen recognize these bands. We're just going to take the whole planet over. How does that sound, folks? You know, some of you want me to make a tribal rock and roll hall of fame. I don't have the guts for that. That scares the hell out of me, baby.
Yeah.
But thank you, Rock and Robin Bird, a
Michael
$2 super
Boswell.
thanks. And then this one, I kind of got to show you. I've got an iPad here. It's haunted as hell. I hope you don't see weird faces flashing at you. But it was Are You There that I
Are
didn't
you
cover.
here?
Now,
Yeah.
I didn't see two of them, actually. He gave us a $10 and a $3 for a total of $13. If you see that, is that showing? Oh, well, it won't help. One of the it's backwards. I forgot. One of these says it's like a little stickum note, and it says "I'll be back," right? And the first one was, oh, I do remember covering this one. Number one fan. All right, so I always try to catch up on you guys if I miss you. All right, so the folks that gave us, here it is on our last stream, and each one of you are a freaking rock star, just like you folks who have sent in tonight. I mean that. Michael Boswell, hasn't he been in recently? With a $5 super thanks. This is all on Monday. Rock and Robin Bird, $2. That's the one we're talking about. The Four Horsemen, my good friend, my good buddy, my best friend, Royce Eddings, with a $20 super thanks. And Michael Boswell in again, a second time, with a $5 super thanks. Rock and Robin Bird in again, a second time, with another $2 super thanks. Are You There? $2.99, so $3 super thanks, along with a $10 super thanks. Those are the two I just shared with you. Michael Boswell was in a third time with a $10 super thanks. Nethead with a $10 super thanks. And we found out, yes, indeed, that's the very famous nethead from days gone by on this channel. He's been with us for a long time. It was so good to see him in the chat. Storm Cop, my longest patron, man. He started this shit.
Miss Storm Cup tonight.
Storm Cop. Oh, is he not in?
Not in tonight, but he was here last time.
Yeah, he was in Monday. I remember that. Yeah, yeah. Well, he's a busy man.
Storm Cop is awesome.
He's a busy man. I can understand. He came in with a $20 super thanks. Michael Boswell, is this the fourth time? $2 super thanks. And Rock and Robin Bird with a $5 super thanks. Okay, so you guys are keeping the channel alive. I thank you so much for that. And you're all rock stars for sure. Okay? All right, so that gets us to the topic at hand. First of all, why would I say that 2025 belongs to is Led Zeppelin's year? Well, very early in the year, we got the film in IMAX, right? And I guess it was successful. I probably should have gotten the latest statistics on it, but it was successful. And because of that success, many bands are planning to do the exact same thing. Bruce Springsteen's been filming himself for years. Most egomaniacs do. And there's hints that he's going to be. So these kind of projects are going to become, there's been a couple already, are going to be coming out more often. And that's going to be part of the procurement of rock, setting it down. Okay, so it's greater days are done. So now let's settle down and praise these albums, put them in their thing, and let's start Classic Rock 101. A whole group of people of all different generations who like to talk and chit chat about this very special time, whether they were part of it or not. I read stories based in the 30s. I wasn't on this planet based in the 30s, but I love to read about it. I'm a subscriber to a 1920s channel, right? I think that's what it's called, the 1920s. Maybe some of you are too. I love as much information on generations that have passed before me as I do my own generation. And so now, like we now do videos on the flappers on a channel, now we're going to be starting to talk about rock and roll more within the confines of its time, rather than bitching and moaning, although I will still continue to do that from time to time, about the current mess that rock and roll has found itself in. So we got Becoming Led Zeppelin. And by the way, I've got a link in when you click the title on the stream tonight. If you click that title, let me make sure it's there, and then click more. Go down to the bottom. And yes, it's there. I put out a video I did saying, what did we learn from with Led Zeppelin's Becoming Led Zeppelin? What did we learn? And I went through it. It's not a real long video, but you can click on that at any time later on after you're watching, or if you're rewatching this, you can click on that. I'm not going to go through everything that we've done. I've already done a video on it, and I'm supplying you a link to that. But basically, the movie came with a rare John Bonham interview that I was not happy with. I mean, it was great, right? But looking back on it, I go, well, that was almost hardly worth mentioning as a bonus feature because there's not a lot to it. John Bonham was not his ego wasn't driven by interviews. To get an interview out of him was practically impossible. And so it's kind of nice to have that. And it's the only place you're going to hear that. So instead of watching another documentary on Led Zeppelin that might be more critical and cover aspects of their career that this doesn't, it's not a lot of mentioning of Aleister Crowley or what the symbols meant or uh, on certain albums or anything like that. Of course, it only covers the Led Zeppelin to a certain point. But there was one thing that was mentioned in there, and I never covered up or covered either on Royce or there. There's a point in the film where Jimi Hendrix, Royce, you put that thought in my mind, didn't you? Jimi Hendrix. I love Jimi Hendrix, but he's not my favorite guitarist. Jimmy Page's.
Hi.
What's that, babe?
John Patterson said, Michael is my hero and inspiration for all good things that happen when we get a grip and be honest with ourselves first.
Wow, John.
That is so sweet, John
Yeah,
Patterson.
it's such a
I
nice
love
thing to
that.
say. Yeah. I thank you for that kind compliment, but everybody in this panel are big time rock stars, and a lot of them believe like you do, and they disagree with other things I say. That's fine. But I think most of us, I can't imagine anybody coming to a tribal forum, you know, that includes the tribe, and the channel is a classic rock channel, who wouldn't say pretty much the same things in general as far as that goes. So I don't think we have a lot of contention, but what a wonderful thing to say, John. Thank you so much. And John's been showing up all the time too, hasn't he?
Yeah. Oh, he makes it when he can, and we like him here.
Right.
So
Right. But anyway, I was talking about Jimmy Page, and he was, this was before the band was happening. Now, keep in mind, we're going to be talking about Robert Plant and his explorations into Americana. In that film, if you remembered, Robert Plant said more than anybody, there were two people that really wanted America. Jimmy Page, first of all, and not till he got to the West Coast and saw the West Coast sound as he was touring with the Yardbirds. Of course, that's when Jeff Beck left and kind of boom, but he loved what was going on. Plus, he always wanted to put a band. And he got together with the manager, Peter, and he said, "Look, I kind of want to do my thing." And he backed him up totally, right? Do you know one of the things that pushed him into doing that on the West Coast? He went to a palm reader. So they said, "You're going to make a decision in the near future that will change your life." Right? Jesus, what a fortune cookie! Yeah, you know what? I'll make the same prediction for each and every one of you. You're going to make a decision in the near future that will change your life. Okay? I've made 3 or 4 decisions this year that's changed my life. Haven't you? right? In one way or another. Maybe it's an in law you never liked, but wifey poo asks you, can you make an effort? And you're making that effort. Changes your life, changes the dynamics of your family life. All right. So, I'm not a big believer in palm readers, in the occult. I am of the occult, but in a whole different direction. I think it's real. Okay. Jimmy shouldn't have been messing with that shit. But Jimmy was that kind. So he took that dead serious, and then made something. Have you ever heard of the power of speaking a vision into reality? That's how I did it on this channel. You envision yourself being successful, and then you work to that end. Keep all the crap on the side out of the way, and you work. You tunnel your way to that end. I've been okay, successful. I'm not a huge channel, but I'm not a tiny channel either. And it's been successful, and we've gotten this high of a subscription base in less than 4 years, folks. Right? I my first video, and I wasn't even a rock channel at that point, was October 28th, 2021, right? So we're coming up on the fourth year as far as the beginning of the channel, but we haven't even come up to the fourth year of the beginning of the bottom line as a rock channel. That'll be in February. So he talked about that. So he had this hard on for America and everything. And sorry, ladies. Uh, but so did Plant, and even more so and earlier and from afar. He said in that several times, I saw America, and it was every single thing I ever wanted, you know, cars, roads, space. Uh, kind of like what John Lennon said, if I was living in Rome, I'd live in Rome. But it's the 20th century, and the new Rome is New York City, right? More true today than it's ever been. So,
Oh, Retro Gamer came in.
what's that?
I was just saying Retro Gamer came in.
Oh, okay, Retro Gamer.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while. Good, good. Welcome very much. So uh, keep that in mind when we get to talking about Robert Plant tonight. Okay, his love of America wasn't just to put him in a better spot. He really loves America. He loves Americana music. He said everything. That was my biggest dream. That was the one thing. And when we covered Ozzy Osbourne, we talked about how Ozzy at that time in his life said, I didn't think I'd ever get out of Birmingham. Not that Ham is a bad town, but at that time, and the class under which Ozzy was born under, he didn't see much of a future, factory working, that type of stuff. And Robert Plant, even before he got his first break, all he saw was America got to get over there, got to get over there, and got to get over there. One of you asked, who was it that asked, would Led Zeppelin ever get back together again?
Yeah, that was Carrie Wheeler.
Oh, Kerry Wheeler?
Yeah.
Ask? Yeah. So I think that's part of it. And look at what he's doing now, Kerry. So he's quite comfortable in his zone. And he has said several times, I just don't have it in me to do that big, and he stated he can still hit a lot of those notes, but he doesn't want to have to, that type of thing. And I think that's why he often reworks Led Zeppelin tunes, if you think about it. Okay, so in the film, we get the fact that despite all of Robert's dreams, despite all the dexterity and success that John Paul Jones had in the studio, and despite the fact that John Bonham had a girlfriend who would soon become his wife, didn't want him hanging out with Planty, Robert Plant, because Robert was out siphoning gas out of gas tanks, right? Uh, he was protesting the legalization of weed through his band. What was that? The original A band of gypsies, right? And if you listen, and it shows you a couple of things in there, quick clips of the songs. I swear to God, the one from the band of gypsies sounded closer to Clack 2 than Led Zeppelin. And he had done a couple of recordings in the studio. He was hitting there, but he wasn't getting the opportunity at all. And he was feeling lost. He really was. He said basically he got down, he was homeless, and he had a bottle of penicillin. I don't know why that was important to have. I guess you probably should have some penicillin if you're homeless. Couldn't hurt. You know, you get real sick, I'll take that stuff, unless you're allergic to it. But so, you know, things weren't looking up for him, right? He was just looking for something to bite on. But right along, now you got to remember, right along with John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page was just as successful in the studio. Often Jimmy Page and Jones joining up with two other musicians most of the time, a drummer and another guitarist, were on more records than the Beatles themselves. I mean, they were on Donovan records. They were on, you know, they were on James Bond films. Okay, these guys were very successful studio musicians. And Jimmy had friends who were joining bands. A friend of his was Jeff Beck. A friend of his was Eric Clapton. He knew them, they knew him, right? And they're all joining bands. And he was getting tired of being confined into the studio. He was comfortable with it. But, you know, they were doing that. So he got to the point where he started jamming at the clubs at night and with a group of people that would nonstop. And the dare was to try not to play the same shit you just played. Try to invent new tricks and stuff. And he sharpened his claws. He was offered a gig with the Yardbirds and he turned it down when Eric Clapton left. Wasn't he the one that suggested Jeff Beck? Maybe it was. And Jeff Beck got in there, right? But then somebody else quit and they asked him to join again, and that was just the right timing. He joined the new Yardbirds. Jeff Beck quit, and then as soon as he quit, Jimmy said, well, I'm the main lead guitarist now. And he started changing the direction, and he had the same problems with Rolf that Jeff Beck had. Neither Jeff Beck or him wanted to be in a pop band, and you know, they were kind of they were always on the edge of a pop band or rock band, pop band or a rock band. And a lot of the key members just wanted to do pop, you know, make the big bucks, get a top 10 hit. And that's what they want. Jimmy didn't want that, right? And so when that came to an end, his idea was at first to lean on the Yardbirds' fame and call a new band that would have included the Yardbirds' bass player at first, but he backed out and call them the new Yardbirds. Now, some of the footage that you were talking about that's missing is based on, I think, if I'm not wrong, the tour where they toured as the new Yardbirds. They weren't touring as Led Zeppelin. It was Led Zeppelin. There was Robert Plant, Bonzo, John Paul Jones, and Jimmy Page on stage playing Led Zeppelin songs, by the way. So, but they had finished, they had a contract, and the name Yardbirds at that point in time would outsell some geek band named Led Zeppelin 30-1. So it was a smart financial move, right? But they would eventually change the direction, especially after, and I think there were part of it was because there was some legal problem. He couldn't continue with that. It all worked out for the good. But it was always Jimmy Page's vision. Never lose sight of that. As talented as these other three were, it was Jimmy carving it out in his head and trying to go for that. Remember, we talk about that tunnel vision. Now, he would probably say, yeah, you're going to make a decision. And it was the occult that helped him. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his thoughts on the occult are. He doesn't talk a lot about it. There's rumors, right? But I'm not going to get into that. I don't judge a man by what he believes in or anything. It's the music. And if I thought there was something evil coming out of the music, I wouldn't have anything to do with it. I don't hear that with Led Zeppelin. Okay. So whatever Jimmy is or isn't really my concern. I'm, the only band I'm really just knew because I was a young man, didn't know any better. I know the complete life story of the Beatles, right? Led Zeppelin a little more selective, and I don't. There was a book by Jimmy Page, and he started talking about that stuff, and I just covered. I went past. I don't care about it. Just went past that chapter or two. You know, those aspects don't bother me. It's the music that comes out or whatever, and I may cover. The story of that occasionally if it affected the music or a song or an album cover or the symbols we cover it then, but other than that I don't cover all of that, right? So at first uh, everybody makes a big deal that, hey, Terry, and I guess mainly because Terry just passed away. What was it, May this year? Terry Reed's, aka Terry Superlungs Reed, just passed away this year. He was offered the job to sing with Led Zeppelin. We'll get into that in a minute. But Steve Marriott of the Small Faces was also asked to join. And another person that we've covered a lot. What does that have in common with Ozzy Osbourne? Well, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, Sharon Osbourne, who used to be known as Sharon Arden, keep this in mind, Arden, Arden. When Jimmy made forward movements, I'm going to put my move on Stevie, Don Arden, was it Don? Don's his first name, I think. Uh, the manager of the Small Faces told Jimmy, "How would you like to play guitar with your fingers broken?" So in the future, like I said, I've been staying away from anything negative about Ozzy Osbourne, but it's not because I'm in denial that that he had a very twisted road to get where he was till the day he was died. And not everything he did was good stuff, and not everything Sharon did, and even how she met him was good stuff, because it was Don Arden that sent his daughter to keep an eye on Ozzy, who at that point was a freaking loser. Danger. I wouldn't put my daughter in the company of Ozzy as he was there. And I'm an Ozzy fan, but at that point he was lost. I've told my viewers many times I had a lost weekend period myself. I almost drank myself to death over a period of 10 years, and I wouldn't be here in front of you unless I did something about it. So yeah, Sharon kind of helped in that way, but damn her father for even putting her in that situation, right? So Mafioso Don Arden kind of put a kibosh on Terry Reid. Now Jimmy had more than these two. I don't recall. He had like five singers he was looking into, but these were the ones. Steve Marriott he would have gone with. Terry Reid he would have gone with, but Terry had just signed up to tour with the Rolling Stones. Terry was also more interested in becoming a solo artist, and he was fine for the rest of his career. Not the superstar they were, but he was fine and he produced music. Yeah, babe.
John Patterson wants to know what would be the most worthwhile Led Zeppelin blow book out there right now.
Repeat that, babe.
What would be the most worthwhile Led Zeppelin bio book out there right now? Biography.
Yeah. I'd have to go in. Let's see. I don't know if I can do it on here. I've got several. Um, you know what? Let's do that another time, brother. I always review these because for me, I buy all my books pretty much on, to be viewed on my iPad these days. Got tons of Beatle books, tons of Led Zeppelin books, tons of rock books, right? And I'm uh, reviewing this. No matter what I'm talking about on Sunday, I'll carve out a time and I'll give you a list of stuff that I read. Uh, I haven't seen Helene Spalding in the chat in a long time. It's too bad she's not here because she's got a lot of great books on Led Zeppelin. All right, so I've got a couple I can turn you on to, more than a couple. and we'll go over that then. Because I'm just seeing her iPad. If see, I'm on my iPad, I could call it up in a second, but this thing is shaky, and I've got to go to a couple of screens here to get over what I'm covering tonight. All right, so keep that in mind. But I'll give you a list, and if any of you guys got suggestions, who was this that said that, babe?
Oh, that was John Patterson.
John Patterson? All right, John. If any of you have got suggestions for John, let them know because a lot of these guys are experts too, right? They just put up with me mouthing what I know. A lot of these guys know stuff I don't know about John. But I've got to have 10 books on Led Zeppelin, 30 on the Beatles. I don't know. Lots and lots, Angel. That where that comes from is Rockford Files. There's a famous episode, and one of his best friends, ex-con, was called Angel, and he goes, "Lots and lots, Angel." I just love that when it came off. Um, so Jimmy was envisioning this band from the part, and the thing that happened. Here's where you start going. Wait a minute. Maybe that fortune teller had something there because even though he was turned down by Terry Reed said, "Oh, there is a singer that I can recommend." Of course, that was Robert Plant, but he even more than that, he put another bug in Jimmy's head. He's got a drummer, and his drummer is great. That's what perked Jimmy's interest because he still had conversations going out there even after being turned down by these two guys. So he needed a drummer, and he knew Terry had good taste. He knew, Terry was very knowledgeable, and if Terry says this guy's a good drummer, I gotta at least listen to him, and that's what impressed him more than even Robert. Although he was impressed with Robert, bringing him over to his home for a few days to sit down, discuss what kind of music they had and everything. They had very similar record collections, and they hit it off, even though Jimmy still had doubts about Robert's ability as a frontman, not his ability as a vocalist, but as a frontman. And Robert didn't have the experience that Jimmy had. Right, the Yardbirds had a great frontman, and he was worried. He knew that whoever's gonna kind of be the face of this ship, I said, kind of sounded like I said something else there a second. Honest, I didn't, folks. But uh, you know, Plant had the looks that he wanted, that mane of blonde hair, and as it grew longer, it even looked more flamboyant. So he knew he had visually the right guy. He knew he had audibly the right guy. But how was he going to fit? And it's interesting when you look at Led Zeppelin. Robert plays it very coy. He flips a wrist. He slinks back. He might raise his hands during the whole thing. Very laid back. And I think that's what, when Jimmy saw that he could do that, because Jimmy's so flamboyant, that he wasn't going to bump into Jimmy and yet add a mystic look to it, because Jimmy's all over the place playing this solo, and Robert's, "There's a lady." You know what I'm saying? You know, his midriff showing with his nice little blouses and everything. What? They were shirts? Look like blouses to me, man. But he was to me, he was the consummate uh, front man and the best vocalist in rock and roll, as far as I'm concerned. So this all kind of came to being. Now, who was it again that brought up the lost footage? Are You There? Was it Are You There? Um, now, I looked that up, and because that was interesting. And the reason he's bringing it up is because they found this footage, this lost footage of, and if I'm right, it's Denmark. Are You There? You're going to have to correct me. Look if Are You There corrects me. No, no, it was Sweden, because he says a Swedish performance, and the one I'm aware of is in Denmark. But he was saying that they found this too late in time to put it in the film or the upcoming DVD. Now, I own the film digitally, but it didn't come with any extras like you usually get on the DVD, and that's too bad. But I'll probably buy a copy of the DVD because of the extras. So that'll be another bit of money that I put toward Led Zeppelin in the future. Okay, so that this is one of the things. They managed to put this film out early. Now it's in time for Christmas. They're adding bonus features to really push this thing. They know they're in contention against Disney showing the Beatles, 1995. Was it 95? Yeah. When it came out, yeah, 96 was Anthology 2 and 3. So um, they're doing strong with that. But at the same time, let me see if I found it here. I found an article that wasn't loading up, so I had to take pages out of it. Let's see if I can find it. No, it's not going to show up. Okay, let me see if I can open up with the link. Concerning newly found, yeah, newly found, that's all. Okay, start. All right. Okay, good. I did find it. All right, so this is an article talking about some footage that was found that will be on the DVD, and this is the closest thing I could find to what you were talking about. Are you? So the article goes on to say, damned it, way too low. Starting on August 18th, Led Zeppelin fans were puzzled by a series of black and white video clips seemingly showing previously unseen footage of Led Zeppelin. These clips posted by Led Zepp News, as well as by Led Zepp Film and others, led to significant speculation about what exactly was being teased, right? Now, we can confirm that the clips originate from professionally shot footage, so this isn't some random fan. We saw enough of that. That was my least favorite part of the film. Uh, Professionally shot footage of Led Zeppelin performing Dazed and Confused in Amsterdam on October 5th, 1969. Okay. The film, long thought to have been lost, was rediscovered in recent months, so it was nowhere near found in time for the film. Painstakingly restored and will now be released as a bonus feature on the upcoming Blu ray release of Becoming Led Zeppelin. The Amsterdam 1969 footage is arguably the most significant newly discovered Led Zeppelin footage to emerge since parts of the pro shot footage of Led Zeppelin at the Bath Festival performance were posted online in 2022. Led Zeppelin News played a small role in helping release the Amsterdam 1969 footage, sharing the newly discovered archive listing with Becoming Led Zeppelin director Bernard McMahon, which kickstarted his restoration process and the upcoming release of the footage on September 30th. Okay, and we're fastly coming up on that. Armed with Dutch newspaper coverage of the performance broadcast and a domestic audio recording of the television program he acquired from Sam Rapallo, in 2018, McMahon spent years searching for the Amsterdam footage while making Becoming Led Zeppelin. Even before I actually presented the idea of the film to the group, I was on a search for every piece of footage that I could find that had been filmed in a period that the film covers. McMahon tells Led Zeppelin News. I remember having close to 2 years of conversation with the archive attempting to find that footage, and I came to the conclusion that it had just been lost. Tried to track down the footage. McMahon had even made a contact with a family of Dutch filmmaker Frans Zwartes, and it had been rumored that Zwartes may have been involved in filming Led Zeppelin's performance. Confusion likely. I keep getting notifications, baby.
Yeah, I'm letting her know
All
that.
right, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Our daughter's trying to get in on the action. And it's covering my screen. It had been rumored that Zwartes may have been involved in filming Led Zeppelin's performance, confusion that likely originated because a separate film from Zwartes was shown on the same episode of the program where the Amsterdam footage had been broadcast. McMahon had always intended to use the color Super Show footage of Led Zeppelin performing Dazed and Confused on March 18th, 1969, in his film. He always wanted to do it. Okay, so they found it. Let's see, what else were they talking about? Um, yeah. Now, I thought I saw in this that it looks brilliant, but there's some trouble with the sound. So I'm not sure how they're going to include that. Are you? All right. So that'll give you an idea of yes, they have found footage, and if you know of other footage that they just didn't find it in time, that'd be a bit of a headline, and I'd be happy. More than happy to hear about it. So if you didn't make, I don't, is RU out there?
No, I haven't seen him. No, but
He was in early.
earlier, yeah.
Yeah. So if you watch this later, RU, let me know because that's the most I could come up with. Um, so anyway, so that's what we got at the first of the year, and at the end of the year, we're getting this kind of nice thing. And it's been, of course, later on in the year, we also got the digital release for that. I've done videos on that. That's when I saw it. I never did get to the theaters for it. I just didn't have the patience to stand in a line and get on down. I'm old. All right. But when it came out, I bought it, lied down in my own bed, watched it, loved it with a good pair of earphones. I know, Nick. It should have been speakers. Um, all right. So that's what we've gotten so far. That's kind of a big deal. All right. Kind of top and tailing the year with what was it, early spring, late spring release on digital. Now we're getting it on physical format. Nice little tailing in there. And then we got the Led Zeppelin Live EP as well. Now, these are 4 songs from uh, the. First of all, it's better for me just to show you what I'm talking about here. Uh, this is a big time. I'm sorry, again, backwards image. This is a big time, a must have for a lot of Led Zeppelins. Okay, this is a great DVD, lots of live performances, things like that, right? And there are 4 songs that are on this album that's on that DVD, and evidently it's the same mix. And on the back here it says, "In My Time of Dying," trampled underfoot on side A, and that's from Earl's Court. Side B is from Nebworth, and you have Sick Again and Kashmir. And you know what? It's interesting because side one has, it doesn't have the time, but I did look at the time before. And side one is almost a full side as far as lengths. I think it's just under 20 minutes. Side two is real short. And if they had switched Trample Underfoot with Sick Again, they could have gotten like a 15-minute per side. I think it would have been. But then they wanted the two. I don't know why they would do that. You know, oh, the Earl's Court side, and I guess, all right, yeah, that makes sense for consistency. But to me, I don't care what live performance it is. I'm more concerned with how it sounds in running order. And I think Trampled Underfoot would have been a great opener for side two and ending with Kashmir. Now, I just finally listened to it. What do I think of it? On my speakers, I haven't heard it through headphones. On my speakers, it sounds, there's a lot of high end I wish wasn't there, especially with Robert's vocals. But it's a fun listen. It's an essential listen. I have some bootlegs that sound by Led Zeppelin that sound a hell of a lot worse than that. Right now, the guy who mixed it for this DVD, I forget his name, he swears that this is his mix. Right. So either way, is it worth? I got this for $20. Is it worth that? Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. I would have spent 30 on this. I don't know much more. 4 songs, not a full album length. I think it's under 30 minutes, right? But it's right around. To me, God, there were tons of people who now get a lot of you asking, what are those other ones over there? There are tons of people that would just buy this just because it's Led Zeppelin, right? I guess I'm one of those. Uh, but then we get so that's one. That's another little bonus coming along. But why do we get this, and why do we get the album looking like this again backwards? But Live. It's supposed to be Live, right? But it's Led Zeppelin live, and it's interesting. It's always good to get another Led Zeppelin live album. I would have bought it just for that. But why is it being released, and why does it have this artwork? Well, the artwork is, I think, the coloring it sucks on this. Personally, all right, they should have made this look more brownstone. What the hell is this all about? What's this beige? I don't get that. But you have the windows that you see on um, physical graffiti. Now, I've got physical graffiti, just bought it this year. Um, and let me share it with you. Here it is. Yeah. This is the 40th anniversary of physical graffiti. I just bought it. And then they announced they're going to do the 50th anniversary. Now, if I'd been smart, I would have done my mental gymnastics and counted up the numbers and figured, well, maybe I'll wait until to see if they announce uh, a 50th anniversary. And frankly, to tell you the truth, I wish I had. All right, I've got this. I love it. I love it. Been playing the hell out of it. It's a great. It's a great remix. I think it's really good. And from what I understand, it's all based on a remix done in 2015. And the new one, no, this isn't the new one. I've got it on order. It's coming on Monday. It was supposed to be here today, but I got an update that said, these guys, they don't know what they're doing. But it's coming on Monday, and it'll be the 50th anniversary. Why would I do that if the 50th anniversary is also based on the 2015 mixes? Now, it's being remastered by Jimmy Page, so it'll be fun to have an album that I can compare and do an A/B comparison, and I will be doing that. All right, so that's upcoming. But why would I buy the 50th anniversary if it's all based on their for just the fact that it gets a poster that doesn't come with this, and it's been remastered by Jimmy Page? I'm not that much of an aficionado. I don't have to have 42 versions of this, folks. I'm not that kind of collector, right? But I'm going to wind up with 2 versions of it. I'll get a video out of it anyway. Let's hope it gets lots of views. I can get my money back for this. But why am I ordering it? Well, the reason I'm ordering it is because it comes with a third disc. Gotta have that third disc. The outtakes, yeah. Kimberly's laughing because she knows her husband.
Oh yeah.
Gotta in everything in life. I've got to have that extra oomph.
One thing I told Ross Snake I would tell you is that he said he wants you to do your guitar collection, a video of that. Yeah.
Right now, don't have a lot of guitars. I have an Epiphone Les Paul that I traded a Mexican Strat that had a $300 set of pickups in it. So it was all, and Mexican Strats, if you know anything with Mexican Strats, especially back then, they were good.
But you've got lots of instruments that you.
Yeah, remember Zone Music? The guy at Zone Music, he placed in a whole new set of pickups in that.
Yeah, I remember.
And I bought it from him.
Yeah.
And then that guy came over who wanted to buy one of my cabinets.
Yeah.
And he had just picked up the Les Paul, the Epiphone Les Paul. And it was the last year that Les Paul was alive, and I wanted to get that Les Paul because anything after that, Epiphone, Epiphone had real Les Pauls. People don't know that. They go, well, Epiphone's the fake Les Pauls. No, that's not true. Les Paul had a deal with Epiphone before he had a deal with um, Gibson, and it was his signature guitar, whether you buy Epiphone or not, right? And at this point, I don't have $2,000 to $3,000 to sink into a good Gibson. I did have a 1958 baked. That was my first professional guitar, Les Paul, gold baked Les Paul. Was that pre CBS? I think it was. Traded that for a Goya, which was a subsidiary of Martin, an acoustic guitar. Worst mistake I made in my life.
What's the name of your acoustic?
This one?
Yeah.
This one is Crafter. Now you go Crafter. That's a shitty guitar.
Oh no, this is a beautiful.
Yeah, this is called the Moonlighter. The one you see at the end of all my videos, that's called the Crafter Moonlighter. It is a limited series guitar that was going for about $1,600 when it first came out. And I actually wanted, was it Takamine Dolphin?
Yeah.
And I went in to buy that, and the guy said, "No, we just sold it late last night." And I go, "God damn it, I was coming in to buy it." And then they had the Crafter, and I go, "Crafter, though." Because I'd owned Crafter in the past. They're okay for inexpensive guitars and things like that. I have one that I named Kiki D, which is my nickname for my wife.
Our daughter has
Yeah.
that.
And my daughter owns it. It's in the next room. So I gave that to her. So right now, my main guitar is the Crafter Moonlighter. Look it up. It's real nice. Around the sound hole, you got different phases of the moon across the neck. You've got the mountains, Abalone Mountains and all of that. And it sounds great. What's that?
Lots of instruments that you could do.
Yeah.
Show. Yes, you do.
Yeah. I've got a mandolin. I've got a ukulele.
A ukulele.
I've got another. Now, the video I just put out, when you see me on stage with Garth O'Brien, it's on my memberships. That guitar, solid black. I have another one just like it by the same make. That was a black Ovation. It was the Ovation Legend, the gold pickup and everything. I traded that in to get the Moonlighter. You go, are you crazy? Because the Ovation Legend, I think, cost me $1,800. So, or 2,000 at the time. But anyway, then I came across a more inexpensive Ovation. It had the same basic. See, I always liked the black Ovation or the black acoustic guitars ever since I saw Paul McCartney playing a black guitar in the photos of, what was that, Red Rose Speedway album. Always had to have it because I was a major Paul McCartney fan, right? And then I have, what's the name of the bass? I used to have a Michael Dolan.
You had a Dolan
bass. Yeah, a Dolan, not Noland. Famous luthier who.
You had work done on the Dolan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I met him. I bought it from a pawn shop. They wanted $1,000 for it. They didn't know what they had. So I put it on layaway, and every check I put about $200 or $300 on it, didn't I, baby? Till I had it paid.
You did.
And had that, and very foolishly in a bad trade, got rid of that. But it also, the neck got broken. So I took it back to Michael Dolan, and he fixed it. Man, it was in better shape than it was before, but I had to get a PV bass, and I still have my PV bass. It's an inexpensive $300 or $400 bass, right? So that kind of tells you where I am now, unless the world turns rosier and everything. I've never had a large collection, but when our daughter was living with us, we had a large collection because she had a lot of my ex guitars. My son has several of my ex guitars, right? So I've had great guitars. I have always had good guitars, whether they're least expensive or whatever. Like I said, a lot of my recordings, my guitars were the best instrument I had, and I was playing parts on Casio keyboards just to get the idea of the song. So any of you who are watching some of my demos that were made way in the 80s, I was still in my 20s. I had a Lyle bass at that point that should have been used for firewood.
PV amps and guitars were killer.
Oh yeah, no, I love PV. As a matter of fact, my amp for my last band, which was called No Man's Land, dig it? No Man's Land, no land,
Noland.
right? based on my name, but that was the name of the band. And I had a PV Firebase, which was were those the Firebase were those 12 inches? I want to say almost 10 inches, but anyway. I had a cabinet of six speakers and then a top cabinet. This sucker was as tall as I was, and that's what I played through, right? So I've had all kinds of tons of equipment. I've had Fender amps. The some of the equipment I have in here today. I've got one of the old acoustic. Which I'll get to go through some of this stuff another time. Got I've got a Fender up here. I've got a PA system back here. All this stuff is stuff. That I could take on the road with me right now. Got a spider amp back there.
Plus, your son and your daughter collected.
Oh God, yeah. So yeah. So anyway, that's where we get with that. So we're up to having a pretty good output for Led Zeppelin. Now, the reason I'm doing this, folks, think about it. Now, just imagine if this album had the three, and then I'll just lay this one right behind it in my record collection. I mean, that's pretty decent. That's four LPs. That's kind of a box set, sort of, kind of, isn't it? Right? And so that's the way I got my box set this year. However, when I started thinking about, talking about all this stuff and what it is, and I want to hear from you guys. Let me know if anybody's just not going to get this thing or if they are going to get it. And take a few screenshots if we don't get to that, baby.
Okay.
Okay, but look for comments on people. I'm not getting it, because I can see if you bought the 40th anniversary. Matter of fact, I can almost feel Novus Nick's brain humming right about it. I got it. I got the 40. I don't need the no, or maybe I've got him wrong. Uh, Maybe a third LP isn't quite enough, especially since you have other versions of it and everything
Juice
else.
Wild says that's what happens when gravity kills, Michael. Yeah.
He's referring to my song called Gravity Kills. I'm just waiting for the catastrophe. That's what happens when gravity
Nestor
kills.
just came in. Nestor Danelli.
Oh, Nestor, always good to see Brother Nestor. Yeah, sorry, folks. I have to leave early. Oh, no, he's been in. He has to leave early because I have another rehearsal. Oh, good luck. And break a leg, brother. If you're in show business, you know what that's all about. All right. So let me know. I could see, no, I've got enough of that. I don't need it. It just, and the outtakes, I would have hoped they would have given us two LPs and just really boxed this up. But it is what it is. And then on top of that, we also get Robert Plant's Saving Grace. Now, it isn't out yet, or at least it hasn't been released in my neck of the woods. But I've been listening to. It's got three different. Let me go over to my iTunes Music here. I've got. It's got three pre-releases, or at least on Apple Music, that's what it's got. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna kill your iPad. Okay, no, it's all right. I'm back, folks. I was only ready to load off a barrage of cuss words here. Okay, let's see. Robert Plant, because you weren't listening to what I was listening to. Okay, here we go. All right, and Saving Grace. First of all, can I blow that up? Take a look at this. It'll be backwards, but take a look at that album cover, folks. Let me get the glare off of it. Isn't that beautiful? Hang that sucker up in your front room. So it's got a great album cover. I like this anyway. What do you guys think? And they've got three different songs that have been pre-released. Of course, everybody's song we've had since this was announced, right? And then they have Gospel Plow, which I hadn't gotten to. I knew they had released another, and maybe that's the new one. And Chevrolet was. I hadn't got to the second one, and by the time I got up here getting ready for this, they had three. Okay, so what are these songs? Because first of all, I love Robert Plant as a singer, but I also love him as a songwriter. And how many of these songs are written by Robert Plant? Well, it says three of them. But if you look into it, uh, he's not really the songwriter. They're just these are old standards that are in the public domain, and you can make a copyright claim if you do something with the song that hasn't been done before, and it becomes your piece. Now I don't know for how long he has that trademark or whatever, or that type of copyright, but you can do that, right? But he hasn't written any new material here. He's arranged some material. These are all old Americana. Now on my last stream, I told you guys, you know, I, I don't go for a lot. What was it? Yeah, I mentioned that Royce had said that the Stones actually did release a blues cover album. And I said, yeah, well, I'm not that interested in that because the blues cover album is just a cover album. For the same reasons I wouldn't be interested in Bruce Springsteen's great, his standards album, the boss. And I said the last time I fell for that was Honking with Bobo with Harold Smith, and I won't do it again. And yet, I've been listening to this. I assumed he had written everybody's song. I hadn't heard the song before and everything. And a lot of these are remakes, right? Now, what do I think of the three songs? I like them. Two of them I love. And I love the third one, but when I hear the original version, it pales. Okay, so now with these three songs, everybody's song, Gospel Plow, and Chevrolet, and we'll get into what these songs, some other reiterations of these songs in just a minute. What you're getting are traditional songs be rearranged, but what you're hearing with banjo and fiddle, the same kind of approach and lightness. There's a lot of Led Zeppelin lightness here. If Led Zeppelin was a band that had banjo and they had mandolin at times, but if they had had a lot of banjo songs with some violin, more Americana, there's a lot here that sounds quite a bit with Led Zeppelin. All three songs, Robert's singing is wonderful. All right, he's standing in with the range. One of these songs, he's got is it Everybody's song that has the female singer? I keep forgetting her name. So he's with a new female partner, and the band is called Saving Grace, which he's been working with for the last couple of years and touring with. And they've been writing songs on, not writing, I guess, but traditionally arranging songs, probably during sound check, right? And he's putting this out, right? So, first of all, the first track is Chevrolet. And when you hear it, I go, yeah, it's cool, it's great, And then I asked, how much did he write this? Because when you hear all three of these, you go, this doesn't sound necessarily like his style of writing, his lyrics and everything else. So I wrote a quick Google search and said, like I'm in good graces with Google these days. But I said, do they write? No. One of them, AI, still stupid as a fence post, said, yes, it wrote three songs. And I go, what three songs did Rob? And another article came up. He didn't write any of them. He traditionally rearranged a couple of them, but he's not the songwriter on them. And Chevrolet. So I looked up who wrote Chevrolet. And all it says is a traditional song. Didn't really say who. As a matter of fact, that may have been the one that said that or either Gospel Plow. We're not quite sure who wrote it. It's been around so long. The great grandpa wouldn't give us the secret recipe, and so we don't know who wrote it. So it's one of those songs been around. So I did some more research, and guess what? This is a remake of a traditional song that Donovan did. Okay? This is a remake of a traditional song that Donovan did, and that's called, I'm not sure about that. Hey Gyp, GYP. Hey Gyp. Now, maybe it's time, Gypsy? I don't know. Hey Gyp. And then in parentheses, dig the slowness, right? And you've got it. I'll buy you a Chevrolet, baby. I'll buy you a diamond ring. I'll buy you. It's got all the traditional, allurements of a man showing his love. Now, this is the one when I listen to it, I go, oh, yeah. And I'm a big Donovan fan. I didn't know this existed. Larry Graves. Larry Graves thinks he's becoming the big Donovan expert because all of a sudden he's got a hard on for Donovan. You know that? Bet you didn't know that, babe.
No, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, he's all over Donovan these days. I love Donovan. He's one. I went to saw. He's the second to the last rock concert I ever went to go see. Just saw him a couple of years ago. Damn. Yeah, major fan of Donovan. Jimmy Page played for him. Jimmy Page must be a major fan of Donovan. And I guess so is Robert Plant. So I listened to it and I go, actually, I kind of like the Donovan track better. So I took it over to Kimberly. And what did you think? Donovan or Robert Plant's song was better, babe?
I like Donovan's.
You like Donovan's? Yeah, she said right away. I go, which one of these do you like? Because I'd already made, I go, oh man, I got to get a second opinion, because I'm such a major Robert Plant fan. Now, keep in mind, Robert Plant's song ain't bad. Go over there and listen to it. It's good. But then you got to go over and listen to Hey Jip, Dig That Slowness by Donovan. You can get that, find that. He's got a better groove going. I like it's a more naked approach, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, I'm going to buy this album unless every other song is less good than these three songs. If they come even close, I'm going to buy this album. This has got this is the kind of stuff, yeah. And you turn the lights down, you put it on, you groove to it, baby. Or whatever it is your thing is that you do to make yourself feel good when you listen to music. Some of you go, I don't do a damn thing. I always like music. It don't matter what it is. I just dig it, right? And if you're one of those, that's good. But it's going to be one of those albums if the other tracks hold up. But there is a better version of this song, and I'm going to tell you, Hey Jip is it. All right, so that gets me back to Gospel Plow. Now, this is another one, nobody knows who wrote it, and guess what? 1962, Bob Dylan did a version of this. Now, listen to this version, then go over and listen to Bob Dylan's version. This one, when Robert gets in, gonna get that plow, yeah, behind the plow, yeah, gospel plow, yeah. You feel the pain of a man in labor, a man digging into the dirt, and gospel plow. Ooh, that adds a whole other thing. And there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of, you know, I'm working for the man kind of feelings. I'm a man of the fields type. And the whole damn piece is wonderful. Then I went over and I listened to Bob Dylan. Now, Bob Dylan's one of the greatest songwriters on this planet. He didn't write this song either, right? But I hated it. I hated Dylan's version of this. So Plant kicks the shit out of Dylan's version. First of all, Dylan's version's way too fast. The guitar's going like a chicken eating chicken feed. You know what I feel about chickens? God, I mean, it ruins the whole, the gospel, man. That's what we get. And I'm not, I don't buy a lot of Bob Dylan albums. I think I owned 2 or 3 in the day. I love him as a songwriter, but his voice tends to irritate me,
Yeah, but he's part of the old guard. Huh?
Yeah, oh God, he's a magnificent beast of a songwriter.
Yep.
I'm a fan of him as a songwriter.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's some stuff he's done I'm a fan of. His voice fits on some of his, on a lot of his stuff.
You can't beat the old guard.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No, you can't. And he stands toe to toe with bands like the Beatles and artists like McCartney and Zeppelin. He's got his own power base. I'm not cutting him down. I'm just saying, for me, The voice is a bit of a detraction, you know. Is once upon a time, then you. Uh, you can only hear that like once or twice a year from me. Uh, I'm just not a. Sorry, Bob. You know, you didn't do it for me. Anyway, so, but he's a magnificent artist. Glenn, I know you're out there. You know, he lives and breathes Bob Dylan. Several of you do, you know, and what I just said would offend them, right? But wasn't a fan of the movie either. Next time, get Timothy Oliphant instead of that Timothy. Anyway, uh, so far we've got Chevrolet by Robert Plant being beat out by Donovan, and in my opinion, Gospel Plow, Robert Plant burying Bob Dylan. And Everybody's Song is by a band by Low, a favorite band by Robert Plant. I went over and I listened to it. And this is more Led Zeppelin. Nowhere near like Led Zeppelin, but a lot more Led Zeppelin than Everybody's Song. And Robert wanted to do this because that's one of his favorite bands. And he buries them. It's Low is too frantic. Again, take a look at what the title is about, what these titles were about, what the content within the song. You got to let a song breathe. And Low's version doesn't let it breathe. It goes from 60 to 60. There's no sound, there's no pause, there's no breath to that version, even though that's the famous version. I think Robert Plant buries Low. So, in the final analysis, what we've gotten so far, there's still one, two, three, four, five, six, seven more tracks to come out before it's released. And evidently, one of them has got a star next to it. That means that may be a single. As I roved out. Ooh, that sounds cool. And another one is It's a Beautiful Day Today. Next one, Soul of a Man. Another, Ticket Taker. Uh, Number 6 will be I Will Never Marry. Number 7, Higher Rock. 8, Too Far From You. 9, Everybody's Song. And 10, Gospel Song, with the number 1 song being Chevrolet. All right. So, have any of you guys heard this? What do you guys think about it? Is this something you're interested in? I I like where Robert Plant's going. He's very creative. He is morphed his sound, and then he gets into the Americana, and he keeps morphing his approach to Americana music. And I think that's based on his absolute love of the United States before he was ever. He had to go to America. That was the only thing in his head. America. You know, I wonder where I'm going to California ever came from, you know? But that was always his thing. And he has spent, even though he's got properties in England and everything, he spends a hell of a lot of his time right here in the good old US of A, sounding every bit as British as he ever did, right? He's a Brit, but he loves America. And, you know, Robert, America loves you too. That's all I can say. Or at least this part of America loves what you've done for us. I'm so glad at your age, right? I ain't too far behind you, Robert. At your age, you're still active. You're still creating. God, we see so little of that these days, folks. You know, if the Stones do a blues cover, I did listen to a couple of them. They didn't do anything new to it. Robert's taking these songs and recreating them so far. I don't know about the rest of you. So, what do you think? I'm going to go to how long have we been on? We've been on almost an hour. Before I sign off and all of that, let's see what you guys are thinking here. All right. I first of all, let me know. Is the can you think of another band that has had more to say? Oh, we have a member notification here, baby.
Oh my goodness. It just came in. Ben
Yeah.
came in with a bang.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Thank you, Ben.
now Ben is a member,
Ben
right?
is a long time member.
Oh yeah, 5 months now.
Such a great
Ben Scheidegger, it's good to see you, Ben. And
Ben.
hey, finally got some time to join the tribe for tonight. So far, so good. Glad to see you still up and going on here. I miss you and the tribe. Great way to escape from the world's stressors. God, yeah, I know. If you watch my opening, uh, 2 weeks 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, horrible thing happened here in America. I'm not going to reiterate that. Besides, they'll take subscribers away from me if I do. But you got, I haven't taken the stream down. All right, so it's all there. But a horrible thing happened in America, and it really downed me, and it has affected this stream and how I've gone about it. Man, my last stream, whew, you know, I just had to do it. I had to get up and open my mouth because I was cussing up a storm all over this house, driving my wife crazy.
Oh, had Michael Basso.
Oh, thank you, brother. Oh yeah, now there's a good news. I like this, Michael. He sends a $2 super thanks. He says Cheap Trick keeps putting out new material. They sure do. Okay, they're too dumb to age. That's me. I'm too dumb to know I'm an old man. Then I look in the mirror.
Oh.
Damned mirror. Who keeps hanging mirrors around here?
Yeah.
Jesus. Walk into the bathroom. There I am. Walk into the front room. Oh God, there I am again.
Oh.
That's not me, baby.
Nope.
I'm much better looking than that piece of shit.
I know. You feel like the same person, but you look so
Yeah,
different.
I feel exactly like I did when I was good looking and charming. And then I look and I go, oh, what happened? I believe in werewolfism, I guess. Ah, boy. But good point, Ben. Good point. And of course, here we are, 2 Wednesdays later, and more nonsense. More nonsense. And I can't go anywhere else with that. See my last couple of streams if you want to know where I'm thinking on all this, folks. But I got to tell you, I'm not at all happy with some of the things I'm seeing. And
out in the world.
Yeah, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up. But let's see if we've gotten any that have.
John Patterson wants to know what your thoughts are on the limited prospect of an Alex Van Halen / Robert Plant collaboration.
Okay, again, reread that and tell me who it is again, baby, because I didn't hear.
John Patterson wants to know what your thoughts are on the limited prospect of an Alex Van Halen / Robert Plant collaboration.
Alex Van Halen. Oh God, please, Robert, stay the fuck away from that band.
He tells you like it is.
Sorry, John. What a mess of a band
Dan
that
just
is.
showed up. Awesome.
Who?
Dan, just the facts.
Oh, Dan, it's good to see you, brother. What took you so long? Yeah, okay. Alex Van Halen is the biggest bitch in the world. Has he ever got anything good to say about past members? And he's running around. God. All right. And then every time David opens his mouth, I want to vomit. And Sammy Hagar was always one of my favorite rock singers, and I've seen him a couple of times live, and he's disappointed the fuck out of me. Oh no, the way he treat. Since we're talking about Led Zeppelin, let's talk about Sammy Hagar and how he treated Jason Bonham. God, why would? Oh boy. To me, Alex Van Halen is a bitter guy, right? And all the fighting, and I know Eddie better than you have, right? And oh God, please, Robert Plant, don't go near the Alex. Please don't. No, I don't care for the guy. I don't care for the guy. I like good vibes with musicians. The whole band is full of troublemakers. They never got along, Both lead singers said we ran the band when it was our band, and then Eddie started. For a while that was fine. Like, you can handle all the details. I'm too busy creating these amazing licks. They were a good band. Longtime viewers know I think they were a good band. There was good stuff out of both of them. I like actually Van Halen without my favorite singer of the two, Sammy Hagar, because I think David Lee Roth fit Van Halen's sound the best. and they should have just kept it there. And when David Lee Roth lived, just break up and become a solo artist, Van Halen. Show us something. Do a Jeff Beck. Start really give us a blow by blow or whatever. But and the bitching. I cannot pick up a publication these days without hearing about either Eddie's son or his brother or the two loudmouth singers bitching and moaning about each other. It's sickening. Now, there are channels that cover all that. Harmless Dave. He likes to cover a lot of Journey. Good, more power to him. I'm so glad. I don't even know if Harmless Dave knows about me. I think he does.
Ben Scheidegger,
Ben Scheidegger, $5.
Ben,
Well,
you're always so wonderful, Ben. Such an awesome.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up, Ben. David Gilmour called Ozzy Osbourne a legend in his latest interview. He also confirmed he has aspirations to go on tour again. He hinted at, oh God, Ben, why'd you do that to me? My goodness, great, he's going to go to the Sphere, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also heard he was. I saw a recent interview where he was saying, "I'm looking forward when they make an avatar of me, so I don't have to go out." Uh, but I am. He's my favorite member. Well, while they were together, Richard Wright was my favorite member because I learned to like Led Zeppelin when I heard Echoes, right? And he was, they do a duet between him and David Gilmour, and that was the song. And I just thought Richard Wright with his beard and his hair at that time, I go, yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy I wish I looked like, kind of guy.
Did you catch Michael Boswell's message?
I think I did. Didn't I catch his?
He says Cheap Trick.
Yes, I did. Okay. Yes, I did. And there's other bands. What about Judas Priest keeps putting shit out and stuff? So there is good news, Michael, and I agree that. I agree. There are bands that are putting stuff out. I don't. I love Cheap Trick. I think I own 2 albums by them. They're good, but not quite my good. My God, not one of my favorite bands, but not one of my unfavorite bands. I like them. Every time I've seen them, I've seen them do stuff on YouTube. I don't know the song because I didn't buy that album, and I go, but it's good, right? It's good. And same thing with Judas Priest. It's been hit and miss. I love the album. What was that called? With the eyeball. I want to get that on vinyl. So they're all doing it. I'm not saying nobody's putting out stuff, but a lot of people aren't, and we're getting these collections is what I was talking about, Michael. Ben, did I fully service yours? Oh, he hinted at the Sphere. Yeah, and we're done. That's another thing. A lot of people are hinting at the Sphere. Motley Crap is going to the Sphere, and now they're leaning on our heartstrings. You see, the reason Vince Neil had to quit with Motley Crue there for a while is I guess did they say he had a stroke? He had a stroke, and that affected his way of singing and everything. And maybe that's why he sounds crappy as shit when he sings these days and can't remember the lyrics. Maybe that's the stroke. Okay, in that case, he's not one of my favorite individuals on the planet. I'll tell you that. But I wish harm to nobody. And I hope he recovers from the stroke. Doesn't sound like going to the Sphere is going to help him do that. Sounds like they're milking and carting his fat ass out on the stage to make every last bit of buck they can make because ticket sales are going down. Ticket sales are going down. A lot of arenas. I talked to one of you in my last stream in the comments. You were talking about Alice Cooper and who was he touring with? I forget. I think it's a mismatch, if you ask me. Was that Judas Priest? To me, either or of them is good, but two of them, I don't know. That's a clash of styles. I like, especially the early, maybe not with Alice nowadays, but with the early Alice Cooper group, I would say that, and that's what I'm really a fan of more than him as a solo artist. Although I'd love to see him again. Now, Alice Cooper and Priest, they're both really popular bands. Have sold well in recent years. They're iconic artists, right? Whether you like them or not, you got to admit that and they've sold real well. And I'm hearing, as I told him, that Alice Cooper, Judas Priest are having trouble filling the seats at their concerts. Okay, uh, people have gotten sticker shock. All the hens have come to roost. Okay, I've been talking about this for 3 years on my channel. That ticket prices are out of reach. And I barely made a dent. Most people, I don't care. I don't care, you know. And so it's come to the point now that a lot of people who didn't care are all of a sudden caring. Paul McCartney is having trouble selling his tickets. When in the hell did Paul McCartney ever have trouble filling a house ever in his life? Once the Beatles hit and after. He's got to be the biggest rock star on the planet right now, whether you like him or not. Can you think of anybody with more pull, more gravitas, more history, more importance than Paul McCartney? The world's going to mourn when he passes, but he can't. He's having trouble selling his latest tour, right? And he held off his album so he could do his latest tour. Mm. So a lot of people aren't buying tickets. A lot of people gotta wait for the movie. And I know I'm pretty much right there with them. It's going to have to be somebody, and I don't want to drive 8 hours to go see him. So you got to come to my neck of the woods so you can keep your residencies to yourself. I ain't flying into that desert hellhole ever. The whole town's falling apart. It's going broke. The mayor was in the news. I've been saying this for 3 years, and now it's come. I've been telling you guys for 3 years that the Las Vegas Sphere is bad for rock and roll because people who do, and any residency venue is bad for rock and roll. It's become an old person's home for rockers. Well, I'll just sit in my wheelchair and watch nature videos until the show tonight. You know, maybe I'll go out and golf when it gets cooled down. Pampered nonsense, bullshit crap. And it's coming to roost. Now, you guys who are watching me right now, some of you going, right? I love Caitlin. God bless her. I don't see Caitlin in tonight.
No, she's not in tonight.
Yeah, we miss you, Caitlin, in case you come by. But she loves Las Vegas. On one of her last vacations, she went to Las Vegas. I gave her hell for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves the Sphere. You know, and a lot of you do. It's a Disney ride. Ain't rock and roll. A lot of backing tracks being played by the Eagles and everybody on that. And get ready, Motley Crue, who just did a series by Nikki Sixx. God, I hate that guy. Coming out, and the others too, but Nikki Sixx did the most of the talking this time, saying that, oh yeah, Mick Mars is alive. He's the one who was on double. Well, I've already done the whole story, asshole. And I've already proven that you used backing tracks. Come up with your own damn proof. When you're doing this and your bass is hanging down there and it's going, you ain't playing it. When the drums start before your fucking drummer sits down on the throne,
oh, Caitlin is
you ain't playing it.
Park.
Huh?
Just the Faxman said that Caitlin is at Yellowstone Park.
Oh, that's right. She's on vacation. Yeah. And she finally went to a cool place instead of Las Vegas. Yeah, I'd forgotten that. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you reminding me of that. Yeah. Dan, by the way, just the facts, man. There's 2 channels that I'm attached to. Like, you know, we're tethered together. We're like triplets. The triplets from hell. right?
Yeah, don't check out
Is
just the Fax Man's channel.
yeah.
He's
Oh
got
yeah.
some
And
great
I'm going to get over there since you've been doing it. Yeah, I'll toss something your way, brother. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan supported this channel so much, and he's just become monetized. Okay. So any support you guys can throw to him, please do. He is him and um, the Four Horsemen, which used to be Royce in the House. Those are the two brother channels to this channel. Okay, plain and freaking simple.
Yeah.
I support them in every way. They are very, very tribal, you know. Good men, both of them. Highly recommend both of their channels. Hi, Paul. Robert Plans has taken the best approach of all these older rock stars. He has never been stagnant, always changing, never getting lazy by relying on his old stuff. Yeah, no shit. I wish he would rely more on some of his old stuff sometimes. But yeah, what'd you say, babe?
I said I totally agree with that.
Yeah, yeah, she agrees with you too. She loves his. I've played her his latest stuff. She loves. Who is it? I'm trying to think of the singer he just got through working with. What was her name? Alison Krauss. Alison Krauss. She loves him, especially with Alison Krauss, right? And he's gone beyond Alison Krauss. Probably in another 3 or 4 years they'll re-team up if they're both still around. If he's still making music at that point. But boy, talk about a man going out with his boots on. You know, uh, I, if you had told me when I was a teenager that Robert Plant would be 75 years old, not looking at all like he did in his best years, but neither do I. I just went on a rant about that. And that he'd be doing Americana music and you'd be loving it, I would have said, the devil, you say. Could never happen. Robert will be with Led Zeppelin forever and ever. You know, they'll never die, they'll never age. Funny how us young folks feel at certain times.
Michael Boswell said he saw a video where the Who lead guitarist
Hmm.
throws his guitar on the floor and the background tracks continue on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
Oh,
Yeah, when I saw the Who, they were very much plugged in to the only backing tracks was they were touring Quadrophenia, so Who's Next had already been out, and they were using a lot of the effects off Who's Next on certain things, but those were just loops. And to me, like I've said, I don't like backing tracks, but if you're using a bell sound to introduce, bing, bing, what is this that stands? All right, yeah, let's have the bell at the concert, even though there is no church bell up there. It's just a recording. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with what the Who did there, but these days I wouldn't trust them to get through. No. Um, is this lately? Is this lately?
well, he doesn't say whether it's lately or
Yeah,
not, but
yeah, yeah. Because boy,
that's scandalous.
well, it's just wrong.
What?
Like I said, my last live
You
stream
can see it
kind of takes the live out of the event. What's that?
on video. It's out there forever.
Yeah, yeah. So is it on video? If so, leave a link. I'd like to see it.
Yes, Michael says it was lately.
It was lately.
Yeah.
Ooh, Michael.
Yeah.
Michael Boswell's got homework. See, I said this on him and Doc Insomnias are shit disturbers. They're always giving me homework. Would you take a screenshot of that and I'll check it out?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to take another crack at the Who.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Oh, Dan.
Oh my goodness sakes.
Now, oh gosh, Dan.
Thank you so
Everybody
much.
give this guy. He just gave us a $10 super. Thanks.
You're always
He says, showing my support for the channel and the tribe. Thank you, Michael and Kimberly.
Thank you.
Brother, we couldn't do it without people like you. You know that. And, Dan, Dan has 10 times more streaming experience. I'm still learning the ropes. Royce and Dan brought me up, folks. Yeah, I was just a poor shivering puppy they found in the forest. And they said, "Well, just follow us, kid. We'll give you we'll teach you the ropes." So anything I know about, like me, the way I'm doing this right now, is probably not the most professional thing, but damn it, I'm tired, right? But no, these guys, I felt like I was ready to stream after years of streaming on Royce. And for the first year I was on Royce, Dan was there all the time. And I learned a lot from both of them. I learned a lot from both of them. And otherwise, good. Lord, I can't even believe how my first stream would have been.
Oh, Michael said that video is on YouTube, by the way.
It is on YouTube,
Yeah.
Michael. I'll check it out then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it.
It's a tribathon.
Yeah. Oh, I can feel a video coming on, baby.
Holy mackerel! It's a tribathon.
Tribal
For
fun.
like what, 2.5 hours almost.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? That
Tribathon.
that was interesting, folks. At the end of last stream, I just needed to get up and kind of yell my brains out. And I had things to talk about. We got into a lot of information and stuff, but I was so out of it on that stream. Not as far as my focus and knew what I wanted to talk about, but uh, when I was done, I said, "Yeah, we've gone an hour. I guess I can." We almost went 2 hours. I was so out of it, I didn't even notice we had gone the extra distance. Uh, I mean, anytime I go, yeah, I'll go an hour, hour and a half for most of my streams. Right. Every once in a while, I'll push it to 2 hours, and I was hoping to push it to 2 hours. Right now, we've got rain and clouds, and guess what? It's hotter than hell in this studio right now because that cloud cover came in over an already overheated Modesto, California, right? And so we've got raindrops coming down. They're cool to the touch, but you feel the cement. It's hot as hell. And so I've held my most of my streams at about an hour through the summer, and they're always an hour on Sundays. But Wednesdays, I do want to go a little bit longer. We've already gone a little bit longer today, and Monday we went a little bit longer. And I because you don't want to get on a stream, and I started. He went an hour, and I got in at 40 minutes. I only caught 20. What a ripoff, but that's the nature of the beast on Sundays because, but I connect it to what's going on at the Four Horsemen, and the party continues over there. So it's actually a longer stream. It's just part A to what Royce has got going on over at part B on his channel. But Wednesdays has always been, the bottom line, tribal forum centric kind of thing. This is more the channel's slot. I'm not partnered with anybody on Wednesday or anything. And I always wanted it to go a little extra longer than I've been. But the summer's been so damn hot, global warming. No, the summers were pretty damn hot when I was a kid, too.
Joseph Blue.
Joseph Blue, so good to see you. It was good to see him in the. Yeah, so I loved it when he said, "Where's Michael Noland?" Someone get that fool up here right now. Let's see. McCartney video released today. Oh, god damn, I didn't see this. Of last Feb, 3 secret shows coverage. Bowery Ballroom, 600 capacity. I'd be interested in that. Okay, thanks, Joseph. I want to see that. I do want to see that because that was kind of an impromptu performance, as I recall, wasn't it? The Bowery. Wasn't it the Bowery's in New York City, isn't it? Isn't it? It's a venue in New York City.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd give my eye teeth to see Paul McCartney, even with his voice in disrepair, in a crowd of 600.
Wow.
My God, you could almost go up and give that man a kiss,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you would.
Oh, I'd smack him right on the lips.
Are you kidding? You're his number one fan.
Well, he probably don't think so anymore if he's ever seen any of my videos.
Movie, Stephen King.
Yeah.
I'm your number one fan.
I'm your number one fan. Let me kiss you, boy.
I love that movie.
Yeah. No, I love him. I love Paul McCartney, but he's full of shit sometimes,
Yeah.
But if he was willing to hear it, I'll give him a big smooch right on his lips. I
his
would.
politics are a little different, but that's okay because we all have different views.
Yeah.
So.
When I was a kid, there was only one guy that was older than me. I'm the oldest in my family. But I had a friend who was almost as close as a brother, Co Burnett. He was a year and a month older than me.
That's right. Yeah.
And he, of course, at that time, he was the first to get his Volkswagen Bug.
He taught you to play the guitar.
He taught me to play guitar. Or my first six chords, anyway. Good friend. My brother was in the back seat, and Cole and I were kind of mind fuckers. You know, would fuck with everybody's mind. Back in the day, you get stoned, fuck with everybody's mind. Sorry, but you did. You got say you said, all right, he's out of there. You know, the whole idea was to maintain your clarity of thought, even though you might be wasted off your butt.
Yeah.
And my brother, let's see, at that time, Cole was probably about 17. That'd make me 16. My brother would have been 15, maybe coming up on 15. I was ready to go on 17, something like that.
He was 18.
And he couldn't take a joke to save his life. And Cole was mind fucking him from the front seat. Cole was driving. Dave's in the back seat feeling trapped, getting mad. And I reached back and I smacked him right on the lips. I gave him a kiss. Right, oh, we got into a major fight. Yeah. I'll do anything for shock value.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know it.
No, there's no limit.
Michael has no
to where I will go to shock you.
No shame.
But thank you so much, Joseph, and to you too, Dan, and to each and every one of you. You know, we've gone for almost an hour and a half. If you guys have anything that I didn't cover, it's getting so sweaty in here. I want to spend more time. Rob, it's good to see you. We gave you quite a shout out on the last stream. So many of I am one of us, Paul H., Ben Scheidegger, so many of you. Good Lord, Doc Insomnia, Just the Facts Man. Let's see, who else do we have? Michael Boswell, of course. He's been on the show so much today already. Four Horsemen, my good friend Royce Eddings. Like I said, Rob Skier Music. Who else do we have here? God, just so many of you. And so many of you disappeared up in the upper regions. Joseph Blue, I already said, Paul H., Jay Claban, longtime viewer, Deuces Wild, Dr. Rick. I hope you're doing well, Doc. Doc and I exchanged I went to a stream that I don't usually go to, and somebody had a certain view on the existence of God, right? And he thought that it was on believers to prove the existence of God, and because he believes in science, right? And you know, he's a nice guy, Marty in Oregon. He's a real nice guy. He really is. But I don't agree with anything that he believes in politically or anything like that. And I said, well, you know, Christianity's been, they didn't feature this on the replay, but I said, not Christianity, but people since caveman times have been believing in God or a God or gods, right? Why lightning come? Oh, that God lightning. Oh, why rain come down? That rain God, you know. Way before science. They were doing that before the wheel. I can guarantee you. So isn't it upon the new kid in the block to prove their theory? You disprove God. Well, I can't do that. It's up to you to prove him, because science is all this. And I told him, I said, well, if science is so correct, why is it all based on theory? Because that's what every single thing that comes out of science is, a scientific theory. What is a theory? An unproven fact. Holy shades, Batman! Talk about oxymorons. An unproven fact is an untrue thing, isn't it? But I'm very scientific. I love science. Science has brought us a long way. But how science describes our universe is what it thinks in the moment. I'll give you a case in point. 30, 40 years ago, they told us dinosaurs were big lizards. Now they say no, they were big birds. All right. 30 years ago, the Big Bang created the universe. But now they're finding stuff out there that's older than the Big Bang. Oops. Gonna have to see, theories get readjusted. You're the new kid in town. You prove your fucking point, dude. You disprove God before you lay him off to the side. He didn't like that. But we both agreed we loved each other's voices. And we flirted with each other. And if he had been in the same room, I would have given him a smack on the lips. Because Marty's a cute guy. But I don't think Rachel, his wife, would be happy with me doing that.
Okay.
No, I love you, Marty, if you ever see this, but you're wrong. Okay? So I'm old school when it comes to that. And nobody's disproven anything as far as I'm concerned because it's all guesswork. And when you and I pass off this mortal coil, I wonder what science will believe then. Okay? I'm all for science. It's brought us great things like the airplane with the motor that Marty was talking about in his explanation of how great science is, right? Science is also going to bring us artificial intelligence, and something tells me Marty will be right there suing for artificial intelligence right for free speech when I think it should still be a slave and no emancipation for that motherfucker. I wasn't going to do this. Royce goes, he's doing it again, Martha.
Oh my goodness, Michael Boswell came in with another super.
Oh my goodness.
He's got a lot to say tonight.
Yeah.
I love it, Michael.
Science doesn't disprove God. As a matter of fact, I remember at the time when the Big Bang Theory came, a lot of Christians just, what do you say about the Big Bang Theory? Now we know how it happened. We can even tell you how old the universe is, over 13 billion years. A lot of Christians just went, well, who's to say the Big Bang wasn't the thing God used to create the universe? You've only identified the thing. If there was nothing that came from nothing, doesn't that sound like there's got to be a starting point? There's nothing. There's no chemical reaction that's going to create this thing. Something came from somewhere else, something, someone. Science will tell you it's something. Others will tell you it was someone. And a lot of people have problem with intelligent design. I told Marty, I said, the evidence of intelligent design is throughout the universe. The laws of the universe, everything works, you know. Rachel was talking about the four forces of the universe. She was talking about electromagnetism, gravity, and weak and strong, um, um, what is it called? Nuclear forces. Makes the world go round, right? She's very knowledgeable. And she has a whole other set of, you know, beliefs and everything than I do. But she made a lot of sense, you know. And a lot of people who are sitting there, science, they couldn't explain this shit to save their lives. You know, no, those science people over there know everything, you know. And a lot of scientists can't get funded because they don't believe in the alt-left agenda. I'm not talking about the Democrat. I'm not talking about the left, but the alt-left has got their ugly little ass into science. To hell with them. And that would go for the alt-right if they were involved. It just so happens it seems like the alt-left is involved in this, you know. And will just dance on your God's grave every time they open their mouth. And that, you know, that's for every man and woman to decide whether they believe in God. If you don't believe in God, if everything I've said just now doesn't ring your tongue, that's all right, sweetheart. You're entitled to your opinion. So am I, right? And there's plenty of room for us to get along. He believes in God. I don't believe in God. He's a Democrat. She's a Republican. He's a philosopher. This man works in the field. He doesn't have time for philosophy. We come from all over. The thing is, we don't use violence to shut up people. Today that happened, and guess who got eliminated? Not the target. That stuff has got to stop. People got to come off their high horse. They're confirmed. They follow their non-religious rules like it's a religion. I thought you guys were trying to get away from that sort of shit. But you talked the party line. Seems a little inconsistent to me, said he, realizing that he uncomfortably got back into a position he doesn't want to. That's the problem with live streams. That's the problem with going over an hour. All right, folks, I love the hell out of you. You know I do. Hope to see some more comments on the replay. If you didn't get your thing, you want me to see it, I will review. Now, I probably won't get to the comments until either late tonight or early tomorrow morning because I'm exhausted. But if you want me to know something, you don't have to watch the whole damn thing together, but just go over to the replay and type in something. I'll get to you. I got to all of you eventually on my last one. I bet some of you were going, well, he talks about talking to people in the comments, but there's a ton of comments here, and he didn't answer one of them. I answered them, all right? Except for a lot of, there was some links that were included, and I just left those, gave them hearts, and because those were just links to other areas, right? There was no conversation. But anybody that talked to me, I got caught up on that. All right, folks. Tonight's been Tribal Forum number 72. I'm Michael Noland. This is the bottom line. What you've been watching is the Tribe in Action. All right. Or a group of people love classic rock. We disagree about a lot of things. A lot of the nonsense I just espoused right now, a lot of you don't agree with. That's okay, man. That's okay. That's okay. All right. You got your beliefs. I got my beliefs. We got our beliefs. They got their beliefs, right? That's what makes the world go round. It's when we start hating each other for each other's beliefs. That's when I haven't got any fucking use for you if you're that kind of individual. All right. I have no trouble with people who disagree with me. I've met some of the nicest and smartest people on this planet and have learned from them. With people who do not agree with my lifestyle, my perceptions of life, my belief systems, and everything else. But I'm willing to go, you know, I have a conversation with them. Some people don't want that. And you wonder, why are they afraid of conversation? Maybe they're too busy answering the party line, never thought about what the party's actually pushing. Maybe they actually don't have that much to say to begin with. If they did, then they'd be a big boy or a big girl and stand up and open mouth and insert foot like the rest of us. Okay, guys, I'm done. I'm losing my audience, I can tell. All right, I hate it when he gets on a rage. Hasta la mañana, dude. I can just see a lot of you pulling off right now. But like I said, that's what I offer, whatever mood I'm in and everything. I think I offered just some entertainment. We got a lot of things cleared with Led Zeppelin. And then, somebody mentioned it, kind of got on me again, and I slipped into it. Love y'all. And my next stream will be on Sunday at 5 p.m. My streams are usually Sunday and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. PST. That means Pacific Standard Time. I'm out here in California. Is the place I ought to be. Anywhere but Beverly. I wouldn't survive 5 minutes in Beverly Hills. I think I'd go insane. Okay. So anyway, so PST, that means adjust your time periods accordingly. Look for my notifications. I try to give you this one. I gave you a little bit of early notification. I got it in last night. That's better than the last one, which was a half hour before I went up. And then on Sundays, look for me usually on the Four Horsemen, which is about a half hour after I conclude my show. I go from 5 to about 6, 6:10, and then at 6:30, I'm up on the Four Horsemen, and Royce is the boss. So I can just relax and take my pot shots from my square. All right, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Stay sane. Love your fellow man.
And love music.
And love music, yeah. Couldn't say it better, babe. And Oh boy, I'm gonna do it. I had a thing. All right. Violence. Where did I have that set up? Was that there? Must be somewhere here. I had a screen that I was going to show. I can remember. Yeah, here it is. All right, folks. All right. Here's pretty much this says what I think about violence. The quote, violence is the last refuge of the incompetent. What does it mean? It means that people who lack the ability to resolve a situation through reason, skill, or diplomacy will eventually resort to violence when other options have failed. It suggests that the violence is a sign of failure and weakness, not strength, and is used by those who are unable to find a peaceful or intelligent. A lot of these people on this side claim they're the intelligent ones. They're the educated ones these days. To find a peaceful or intelligent solution to the problem. Okay? The lack of skill, wisdom, or the ability to think and act effectively. To know that killing another human being, all right, who is precious, human life is precious. And because you don't get your way, you're willing to end it. You're a dirty dog if you do. You're a dirty dog, not a human. And you've chosen to make yourself a subhuman, just like a fella did today. But he's no longer a problem. And the officials didn't take care of it. He took the coward's way out. Killed, I think, two people. One's in critical condition. I think it's two. Definitely one. And it was, and those people weren't even the targets he was going out. Again, look at this. They weren't the targets that were going out, and the use of the failure and weakness, not strength, lack of skill, wisdom, or the ability to think and act uh, effectively. Failure and weakness, no strength, used by those who are unable to find a peaceful or intelligent solution to a problem. Stupid is, stupid does, folks. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, I'll see you on Sunday. Love each and every one of you. And I'm going to go get some rest and take the rest of the night off. Watch a movie. What do I want to watch? You know, I've been thinking of a good werewolf movie. Yeah. Maybe I'll go back to the original Lon Chaney one. It's been a while since I watched that. I love good old spooky movies. All right, folks, we're in the season, man. We're coming up on Halloween, right? I kind of get into the mood for scary. Kimberly and I both love scary movies, you know.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we can both just sit down and watch the same movie.
Scary movies and candy.
And what?
And candy.
Oh, we love candy. Candy. Remember?
Yeah.
Speed Racer's brother? Candy.
Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Frankenstein. Wolfman.
Yeah. Yeah. Wolfman, I think the last Wolfman was great. I thought that was really good. Uh, Done very well. Getting back to the traditional idea of the Lone Chaney kind of werewolf, only updated and done real well. I loved it. Okay, folks, we'll see you on my next stream. I hope you're having a wonderful week. We're on the hump. All right. We're all looking for the weekend. We're all looking for, Halloween and all of the wonderful goings on for the holidays. Let's hope the shitheads stop it. Let's finish this damn year loving one another for once. Wow, God, I'm asking too much, am I? Huh? You think so? She's going, I'm not going to say anything. All right, guys, we'll see you on my next stream. Night.